Hello, I'm Patrick Stack, and if you like great stories and you enjoy sport, then I reckon you need ABC Sport Daily in your life.
It was an extraordinary achievement to win a tight finish.
You know, a really big, important chip shot, and he turned to Wyndham Clark and said, you know, be an athlete.
Yeah, I think many Americans over the age of 25 would not be across the Cavender twins.
I think these cats have used up too many of their lives.
It's a daily sports conversation, and it's called ABC Sport Daily. Find us on the ABC Listen app.
The 2023 AFL Premiership season.
Grandstand AFL.
On ABC Radio, ABC Sport Digital, and now streaming on the ABC Listen app. Look for the AFL button.
As if the occasion of a crosstown rivalry was not enough, the stakes are high for both the Brisbane Lions and the Gold Coast Suns. The Lions looking to consolidate their place in the top 4, push for a top 2, which has led to September disappointment in recent years. Today is a chance to flex their muscle against their neighbours, who they've beaten 9 straight times. There's still a glimmer of hope for the Suns under interim coach Stephen King, but they can waste no further time. They must win today, or that maiden finals appearance gets pushed back at least one more year for the Gold Coast Suns. Welcome to Carrara here on Grandstand AFL as your Grandstand Saturday rolls on. My name is Brett Sprigg, and Michael Price will call the action here alongside me. Hello, Pricey.
G'day, Spriggy, and once again, welcome to the Glitter Strip. This is going to be a good game, I reckon. The Gold Coast, well, they've got nothing to lose. Brisbane, plenty to lose as far as their momentum goes in their build-up to the finals campaign. And it's going to be a magnificent game. The conditions are perfect. Just wanted to make a quick congratulations to the umpiring fraternity. We don't do that often enough, Spriggy. It's all field umpires, goal and boundary umpires for the first time in AFL history are all Queenslanders. The only non-Queenslander in the lineup is the reserve goal umpire. So well done to all of them, including the field umpires, Andrew Stevens, Alex Wetton, Andrew Adair and James Strybos. So shout out to the umpires in a positive sense.
Underlining how important this game is, and every game is at stages of the season such as this. 2 thrillers early on your Saturday afternoon. So Fremantle have beaten Geelong at Glenelg Park by 7 points. If you've just joined us from there, welcome to you. And in Ballarat, the Giants have beaten the Bulldogs by 5 points, 11-12-78 to 10-13-73. Very similar scorelines, in fact. But, yes, this game, as I say, has the potential to shape the 8 as those ones have earlier. And 2 massive games to come later on today. Essendon versus Sydney at Docklands. Adelaide versus Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval, of course, for Showdown 54. Earlier in the VFL curtain raiser here, the Suns beat the Lions by 18 points. The team news, by the way, looks like this. Sean Lemons and Malcolm Rose has come in for the Gold Coast Suns to replace Ben Long and Hawago Oya, who've been omitted. Jai Farah was the sub last week, and he is again the sub for the Gold Coast Suns this week. While for the Brisbane Lions, no Will Ashcroft, who's out with that serious knee injury. It's just awful for him and his club. Kai Lohman comes from sub into the 22, so he was sub last week, into the side this week. And James Tunstall is the sub for the Brisbane Lions. It's only his first appearance since round 1, and he's 5th overall of his career. So there you go. He is the sub today. I think Zach Bailey's due back next week. Of course, Dane Zorko himself, it's his 4th game back from a calf concern as well. So we'll pause very shortly because those joining us from the game in Ballarat will be upon us and joining us very, very shortly. But the toss happening as we speak. It's been won by Harris Andrews, and the Brisbane Lions will kick to the southern end here of Carrara to start. Most of the ground now in shadows. And the twilight conditions for the third of your 5 games on this Saturday in AFL Round 20. So can't wait to get this one underway here on the Gold Coast. Welcome to Carrara. If you have just joined us from Ballarat, where the Giants have beaten the Bulldogs by 5 points, you're with Brett Sprigg, Michael Price, Zane Bojack, boundary side, down to him shortly. But the final word goes to our experts, Brownlow medalist Jason Ackermanis and All-Australian ruckman Jeff White. For Q Clash 25, the Gold Coast Suns and the Brisbane Lions.
Well, Whitey, I'm just going to put it out here that if the Suns can play a little bit more aggressive with handball receives, they've got to be looking at the Lions if you want to take them on and get around and through their defence. You're going to have to be quicker in the ball movement to get one-on-ones. They've got no chance if they're going to play kick-mark.
No, 100%. And this is a danger game for the Lions. I reckon the Suns are going to take it to them. I think Lions will win, but I reckon they're running carry game from the half-back line, and that's why they brought in Lemons, in my opinion, to get that run off the half-back line and just drive it through the middle and get into their forward pressure really quick. So Brisbane don't come back in zone.
I just saw Jared Witts just give the captain down there in Harris Andrews. Just a little bit of a chest bump, and here we go. A little bit of trash talk to get things going.
There'll be plenty of feeling here. The 25th Q Clash. Brisbane Lions have won 9 straight against their neighbours. Getting us underway here on Grandstand AFL. Here's Michael Price.
Jared Witts and Oscar McInerney in the ruck. We'll give that one to Jared Witts. Promotes it forward for the Suns. Lockneil gets there first for Brisbane. The ball locked underneath him and David Swallow over the top. Umpire will come forward and ball it up just 5 metres in front of the centre circles towards the Suns' end. They're going to the left as we see it. A couple of bodies go down off the ball in Miller and Neal as Flanders tries to crash through. The ball taken there by McCarthy. Shoots a handball out wide. McCluggage gathers, gives it to Archie on the left foot, curls it around the body. Nicely spoiled Ballard away from Hipwood. Got the handball as well to Powell, back to Ellis, and then he sinks the slipper into it. Powell into the boundary line and finds Flanders just inside the boundary on the outer wing.
One of those off-contract players for the Suns, young Victorian, Sam Flanders, having a good year as well. 30-odd touches in back-to-back weeks for him. Comes back inboard now, Atkins. On the left peg, up the outer wing here, towards half forward, Ben King, goalless for 4 straight weeks. A little too deep for him, mopped up out the back here. The Lions with a chain of hand pass that comes from Payne to McKenna, and the Irishman sends his kick further up the line. Here is Archie, waste no time going forward of halfway. They'll go forward now through Leicester up inside 50, but Collins was 100th game, not paid the mark. Umpire says play on. The situation here is Hipwood gets there, wrapped up by Miller. The umpire says let's ball it up. 45 out from the Lions attacking goal at the southern end of Carrara. No score in the opening 90 seconds.
So then too, Pricey, they were out 2-1, just a poor kick there.
Yeah, it went straight down the throat of Collins. You get 2 other options there as Miller gets in front. There's a free kick in play, and that might be against... Well, I thought it might have been against Dunkley. It's going to Josh Dunkley. He stands the mark, chips it inside 50. Lazy defence by the Suns. The mark taken there by McCluggage, 45 out, more or less directly in front, slightly to the left.
I've been watching from the first bounce. Lockie Neal and Took Miller have been going at each other. So back and forth. They've already wrestled each other to the ground twice.
Yeah, they're not friends, that's for sure.
So Hugh McCluggage, 89 goals, 108 over his career. From 50, he lays into this one. That's a fair start for the Brisbane Lions. The first goal on the board. 2:40 gone in the first term. The Lions 1 straight. The Suns yet to score on ABC Sport.
That's one of the things I've been really impressed with the Lions. They did it. They've been doing it all year, and it was really impressive to watch it last week again, especially against the Cats. Just the way they use it off the line. They hit those short kicks at the inside their forward 50.
Let's welcome in downstairs Zane Bojak. Zano.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. Always exciting to be part of a Q Clash. Perfect conditions down here, 22 degrees. Can't get better for football. There's a slight breeze behind the line, so would have helped McCluggage with his kick there. The surface is a little bit patchy, and the reason why I bring that to your attention is because the Lions have had a few injury worries here in the past. Players like Cam Rayner, Brad Staker, Eric Hipwood, Darcy Gardner, even Daniel Rich, they've struggled on the surface in the past, so I'm sure that'll be something I'll be mindful of, but the VFL didn't help. The other thing I want to say is, doesn't get any better when you see the Lions wearing their Brisbane Bears strip here on the Gold Coast.
Absolutely. Back at their old spiritual home, Carrara. Now the Suns with the clearance. Witts to Miller. Off here again. Swallow involved, the veteran. The hand pass missed Mac Andrew. Miller goes to retrieve now. Wrapped up by Lockie Neal near the wing. The umpire will board up. So wins today to Fremantle over Geelong by 7 points. And the Giants by 5 over the Bulldogs. An exciting start. Can this game, Q Clash 25, live up to it? Witts and McInerney at the drop here as Anderson's kick partly smothered. And Starcevic wraps up Holman, dispossessed, although it just arrives to Miller, who sends it for the volley out towards half forward. It's marked by Ainsworth. The Suns surging forward now. Ainsworth on the entry, wants to find the marking target. Casbolt goes up. Mopped up in defence though. Hand pass comes to Harris Andrews and the Lions are away.
Well, he chipped it towards Charlie Cameron, who did well against Lemons with the body, tapped it to his own advantage, and then got the handball away to Wilmot. They're out now on the wing, the Lions. Hipwood, it's a wobbler inside 50. Coming out was Powell, and he's jumped on. Could have been in the back. The ball stuck underneath him. Umpire said no. The crowd really wanted it here at Carrara. Umpire comes, is going to ball it up, 45 out, immediately throws it up. McInerney versus Witts. He wins it down to McCarthy, speculating handball forward. McAndrew for the Suns. Handball back to Flanders. Now over to the run of Will Powell. He measures a pass and it hits Lukosius. Beautiful delivery at half back.
He's in good form, but a long way from home here at centre half back. Brisbane with the first goal of the game, 1 straight 6. The Suns yet to score. Ainsworth traps it now at half forward, leading out King. Takes a simple grab, 45 out, slightly right of centre.
It's going to be hard. It's going to have pain with him all day. Just when you thought his run of form, he needed to clunk a couple and get himself back into it. But it's a long-range shot. But I like the way the Suns are moving it. They're outnumbering at the contest. Brisbane not always the best starters.
Also, Jason Ackermanis on Grandstand AFL. As you mentioned, a goalless month for Ben King. Kicked 3 goals last time these sides met in the previous Q clash. Around the mount of the mark he comes, sets it on its way. Won't get the distance. At the drop, though, Swallow roves it, slams it the boot, misses to the left-hand side. That's the Suns' first opportunity. They're 1 behind. The Lions 1 straight 6. 6 gone first term Grandstand AFL.
How did he miss that from there? He was 3 metres out.
On his left foot too.
So they play on the Brisbane Lions. Some deft work from fullback from Connor McKenna. He's had 3 bounces and handballs at outside defensive 50. Zorko's pass cut off by Ballard. The thump inside the corridor was picked up by McInerney. Beautiful kick out wide now, and it finds Ryan Lester. A long one to the goal square. Sam Collins playing his 100th. Beautiful intercept mark, and he drills it towards Swallow at centre-half back.
Poor kick there. Very poor kick inside 50.
So Swallow playing his 20th Q clash. To the outer side now, Lukosius in the contest with Starcevic, and it's knocked out of bounds for a throw-in on the Nerang River wing.
But I like there that Sam Collins, as soon as he marked it, he pulled the trigger to go inside the corridor. So instead of going wide, he pulled the trigger. So it shows that the Suns mids are working attack and defence to try and get that movement through the corridor.
Jeff White with us here as well. 0437 774 774 is our SMS. Back in it comes. One down to Miller. Hand pass Anderson. Kick goes up in the air. Neil goes back with the flight. At the drop, Tuke Miller tries again. Kicks for distance this time down the outer wing. And it's out of bounds. No, it's touched. So it's going to be a throw-in.
Like a 20-40 in rugby league.
I think it just took some, some chalk perhaps on the way through. So a throw-in at left, right half forward for the Suns, left half back for the Lions. It's Brisbane who lead by 1 straight 6 to 1 behind. So 5 points the margin here, 7 gone.
So the throw-in some of the last patch of sunlight here at Carrara as the shade takes over. Comes off the ruckman's hands. McCluggage can't quite pick it up. Brandon Ellis on his hammer. Picked up by the Suns through Rowell. He's tackled into the ground and he lets loose the ball across half forward. It's a bit of a rugby maul there as Humphreys goes in. The 2 ruckmen, McInerney and Witts, on hands and knees fighting for the ball at ground level. Something to behold. The umpire comes in and throws it up, so the big fellas get up. McInerney slaps it towards the boundary line. It's going to be cut off by Humphreys for the Suns. He keeps it in, evades the tackle with strength. Handball to the run of Powell. He gets tackled, still gets a handball away to Brandon Ellis off a step. He floats one inside 50. Andrews with the spoil. Front and square. Wilmot kicks it straight up the corridor and it bounces into the hands of Ballard, who lowers the eyes. Hits a pass to Anderson. He turns around and bangs it to the goal square, and that's going to get you in some form. Ben King takes the mark in the pocket, and a quick exchange from the Gold Coast Suns will give Big Ben King a shot on goal from only 20 out.
Another dump kick out of the forward line. Lots of pressure from the Suns. Unfortunately, the bounce didn't favour Eric Hipwood and came straight back in with interest. This will see. See, I told you, boys, he'll kick this and he's back.
He's kicked 33 for the year, Ben King. Comes in, nurses it through for the Suns' first goal, and that's going to be good for the young man's confidence.
34 for the year.
1-1-7 the Suns, 1 straight goal to the Brisbane Lions, and we played, just on 8.5 minutes of this first term on Grandstand AFL.
And that's where the message has obviously been very clear from the Suns. It's just own that corridor. Ballard, great one-on-one contested possession there, but to swing and go, lower his eyes and then get it in, just splits up the defence of Brisbane. They love to zone back. They play a lot like Geelong. But if you can kick it off the line, exactly where that kick was going inside forward 50, you can expose them.
And just like that, Ben King gets a good one out the back and nice goal to finish. Who knows, he could kick a bag today.
I was going to say, he had the first quarter goal, didn't he? Get started.
Yes.
He got a feel for things early on.
Well, he's had 2 good touches already, a few contested aerial inside forward 50 as well.
1-1 to 1 straight. Suns lead early here. Witts down only as far as McCluggage to Neil. Wrapped up by Miller. It was being held, in fact, so it's going to be a free kick going the way of the Brownlow medalist a few years ago. Lays it off by hand. Bursting off half back. Again, Payne just works it out in space. Andrews, it's a race on foot going with him. And there is Ben King. Good pressure act They'll force it over the boundary line here for a neutral situation. So a throw in between wing and half forward to the Gold Coast Suns.
Bad option. Give the handball to McKenna. He's under pressure. Should just get it in there.
So back in it comes. McInerney in the ruck with Witts for company. Down to Miller. Anderson breaks from the stoppage now. Sends the Suns inside 50 again. Second bite, can't reel it in. Payne. At the drop, Roses lurking. Off here to bursting by is Ainsworth. He snaps on goal and misses the lot. Out of bounds on the full near side.
Hit the car.
In front of the scoreboard. Yeah, is that Ute as part of the promotion out there behind the goals?
It's got a dent in it. You won't want that one.
Watch out. 117 plays one straight 6. The Suns lead early here in Q Clash 25. 11 going first turn.
So the Lions want to play on quickly through Connor McKenna. Long kick just short of centre wing. Front of the pack, McInerney in front of Witts takes a juggling mark.
Good to see the big fella getting a clunk early on Witts.
It's going to be a fascinating duel all day, the Tall Timbers, as now Connor McKenna goes past McInerney, receives the handball, kicks it just beyond centre wing. Rayner got rid of Mac Adam and then left the ball sitting there. And
McPherson, was it?
I'm just watching the wrestle now between McPherson and Rayner at ground level, and McAndrew gets involved with Berry as the umpire balls it up now. McInerney toes it forward, the big fella. Met it on the half volley, did Will Powell, and buffeted it over the boundary line at right half forward for the Lions.
There's a lot of spot in this game. Every tackle, there's always a niggle afterwards.
Good to see.
Chasing a 10th straight win against the Gold Coast Suns in this local rivalry. And back in it comes. Casbolt and McInerney. It's at the drop. Lohman in for Will Ashcroft this week. Has Ollens over him. Umpire lets them play. It's knocked inside 50. Atkins left it behind. McPherson hand pass out wide here again. They can rebound through Hollins. Curls it around the corner. Kadeem Coleman takes a nice diving mark. Just forward to the wing member's side.
Yeah, Nick Coleman all over him. He played on long left footer from Kadeem Coleman, and Danaher used his body sublimely and took the mark. 30 metres out, right forward pocket. Big Joe on the right side for a left footer as well.
This could go anywhere, but you just saw Charlie Cameron just in the background. Didn't want to get caught up in that aerial contest. Good decision in the end because Joey did the right thing. Just bumped. Collins just out of the way. Nice mark. Can he kick it though? He'll kick a bag if he gets a couple early, Joe. He's one of those players.
43 goals, 26 for the year. Comes into the hoots of the Carrara crowd and he's pushed it skinny. One behind. 117 apiece. We played 12 and a half for the first term on Grandstand AFL.
Wins earlier. The Dockers over the Cats by 7 points in Geelong. The Giants beat the Bulldogs by 5 in Ballarat. Up the pipe they go from the kick out. A drop fielded first by McKenna. Moving here the Brisbane Lions. Low track towards half-back. McKenna goes again, beaten by Roses. Hand pass back to Holman for the Suns. Ellis goes a big fan on his opposite number in Archie. Took on the tackler. And Archie's tackle rewarded here. Advantage paid by the Lions. McCluggage puts them inside forward 50. In the pocket, Cameron has Lemons for company. And it's out of bounds for a throw-in. 35 around from the Lions attacking goal. 117 apiece here. 13 gone. In the opening quarter, you're with Brett Sprigg, Michael Price, Jason Ackermanis, Jeff White and Zane Bojack here at Carrara.
Good match up there, Lemmings. He's got the wheels to go with Charlie.
So he throws it in. It is a good match-up. Taken out of the ruck there by Casbolt onto the right shoe. It's gone wide. It's sailed way wide, in fact, out of bounds on the full. It's going to be a free kick to the former Sun Kelarchi. As Spriggy pointed out earlier, has re-signed for a couple of years at the Brisbane Lions recently and had probably his best game for the Lions last week.
It usually works the other way. When you're about to get no contract, you play well.
So he goes back 45 degrees to find Harris Andrews, who goes further into the corridor now. Lester chips it and finds his mate in Hugh McCluggage, still inside the centre square in the corridor, and he lowers the eyes looking for Danaher. Collins at the back fists it forward. It rolls out towards the arc of 50. Suns with a chance through Ainsworth. It's a nice kick. No, it's not. It's too short. It was Starcevic who was advantaged by that. He was looking for Lukosius, but Starcevic read that short kick best.
Strong intercept grab from Starcevic. Swings it across half back here for his co-captain Harris Andrews. A slingshot from centre half back. Off here the hand pass comes Lester. McLeod was picked off here cleverly this time by Humphrey. Needs some room to move now, needs options. Swings it wide to Lukosius, just forward to the wing. And again they're surging forward in the red and gold jumpers here. Lukosius called to play on. Needs the entry now. Leading up again, Ben King.
What
Great kick.
Easy grab, 20 out directly in front, lining up for goal number 2.
But what the work rate you don't see there from King is he bolted. They all had to. There was no one forward. He bolted, and then he came back to the coaches. You know how good of a kick he is, and that's just the synergy working, and beautiful kick.
But he's ready for it. He put the kick exactly where he knew he'd be.
Ben King, he kicked there first. There he is for back-to-back Gold Coast Suns majors. He sneaks it through. 2-1-13 the Gold Coast. Brisbane 1-1-7. 16 going first term here on Grandstand AFL via ABC Radio, News Radio, and of course the world-famous ABC Listen app.
I want to talk about how we spoke about before the game about them owning the corridor. One really good example of the message that's clear for the Suns this week is that Brisbane Lions scored a point. What did Will Powell do? Straight down the middle. It was a set play. They had guys go wide from where they were at centre half back, and then they came back in the middle. So obviously the message during the week is we've got to own the corridor, and exactly how they played just then.
Just a great pick-off from Humphrey too. I mean, just the anticipation to read that handball from McGluggage, gets it in there. Had to wait a little bit, Lukosius, but brilliant kick.
Just popped it on a plate for him, didn't he? That was sublime skills. Jack Lukosius. Back into the middle of Carrara. Danaher does well against Witts. He got the ball down for Brisbane. It was cut off there by Flanders, who's slammed into the ground by Cam Rayner. The umpire comes in and says, we'll ball it up adjacent to the centre circles on the outer wing. Throws it up immediately. Witts to Rowell, overruns it. Dunkley comes in. He shoots a handball away and, in fact, got dragged off it as well. The umpire said, no, that's not a free kick either. We'll come in and throw it up 10 metres forward to the centre circles in favour of the Suns' direction.
I mentioned calf injuries, of course. Josh Dunkley, it's his second game back from his own calf concern. Here he is, extracts the footy, off to Rayner, tumbles it forward here for the Brisbane Lions. On the half volley for Hipwood, McCarthy in support, off a couple of steps, high ball inside 50 from McCarthy, back with the flight, Gunston has to contend with Collins, and it's out of bounds for a throw-in.
Also, too, on the rucks, Witts came off a little bit of portion of that time there, and then McInerney, and then Witts come back on now to go against Danaher, so there's a little bit of to and throwing going on the ruck there.
Stoppage in the forward pocket here for the Brisbane Lions. It's the Suns who lead by 6 early on here. Witts taken out of the ruck here, run down by Rayner. Umpire says play on. Comes to Danaher on his preferred left. He snaps across his body. It's marked by Ballard on the last line there for the Suns. No change to our score. 2-1 plays 1-1. 18 gone first quarter.
So Charlie Ballard, another intercept mark. He's only 2 behind Noah Bolter, who is number 1 in the AFL as far as intercept marks goes. Had quite the year has Charlie Ballard. Now he puts it out wider to Will Powell. Just still inside the defensive 50 for the Suns. Long down the commentary wing. Casbolt, the target, got rid of his opponent. Couldn't quite take the third juggle. Front and square Swallow. Gave it to Flanders. Now to Atkins. Little 9-iron. Chips it in front of Brandon Ellis. It bounces up, hit him in the nose. He still gathered it. Got the handball back to Atkins. He's worried off it by McCarthy, who gathers the ball. Handball back to Archie. And he duly kicks it into the third row. Out of bounds on the full in front of us here, Spriggy.
Well, the pressure's good from both teams, but they finally got that long kick, Brisbane, so they are starting to win a bit of the arm wrestle to get it slower ball use and then down the line, which suits the Lions.
Ellis from the Tiger. 43rd AFL game today. Loads up, high inside, forward 50 players converge through the air. Mark not paid to Danaher. Lions will clear though through Rayner. His kick goes down for the Darcy McPherson. McPherson off here to Powell on the logo commentary side. Works his kick inside 50. Casbolt goes up high again. Wins it down for Rowell. Collected down there by Zorko. And the umpire says, give it to me. 40 out from the Suns attacking goal. Scoreboard end. 2-1-13 to 1-1-7. 19 gone first term.
He does that every week, doesn't he, Casbolt? He takes 6 blokes with him.
That's
like a bowling pin.
Part of your job description as a big key forward nowadays. Witts down to Rowell. Tackled into the ground. He let loose the ball, holding the agate. Good tackle, Jared Berry, on the young bull in Matt Rowell, who won't give him the ball back, and he's given away 50.
Oh, that's silly. That is soft and silly.
So Jared Berry's going to stroll down the corridor. Nobody really manning the mark. He plays on, kicks it into the pocket, looking for Gunston. He had Collins for company, and that doesn't make you comfortable as the ball goes over the boundary line. Collins gets the high fives from his teammates. There'll be a throw-in in the forward pocket for Brisbane, though.
It's been lively, Gunston. Just can't quite clunk him at the moment, although the opponent in Collins is a bit hard to get easy marks.
Gold Coast by 6 early. Could we witness another boil over here? The game so far been exciting. Back, it's one down by Witts to Danaher, though. Across his body, on the run. Danaher pulls it a little too wide. Want to score only from Joe. Brisbane 1-2-8. Gold Coast 2-1-13. Approaching time on here in the first.
That's a strength they have, Brisbane, when you've got Joe Danaher up against Witts.
Well, that's an aggressive kick in from fullback from Atkins. Kicked it straight up the corridor to Powell. He's got his back to his own goal 40 metres out, and he goes laterally to the right to find Ballard. Ballard measures a lovely pass to a lead from Anderson. Shorter centre wing on the outer side, the Nerang River side of the ground. Now all of the field is covered in shade, except for the higher reaches of the grandstands on the outer side as Anderson flares out even wider to find Flanders just beyond centre wing. So Flanders, ironically from Moe. I know it's Moe.
Mo Sislak.
Just giving you a Simpsons tag to go on with Acker as Mac Andrews receives the ball and he kicks it long inside 50. Here's King. King flies, fists it forward. It was roved there by Wilmot for Brisbane. They can't get it out. The kick from Leicester smothered. Humphrey from the boundary. Hoiks it towards the goal square. Witts and a fly from Harris Andrews belts it through for one behind. So it's 2-2-14 the Suns, 1-2-8 the Lions, 6 points to the margin as Danaher brings it back in.
On the boundary, Zane Bojack.
Oh, Pricey, when you're thinking of Mo, you were just thinking of Sammy Collins at the back there, just spoiling those balls. How good a Mo has he got? I'll tell you what I'm loving. Tuke Miller's about to come on. Guess who else is about to come on? Lockie Neal. They're playing on each other. They're just watching each other here in the interchange game.
Zorko dispossessed twice. Going in hard was Ainsworth. It's a rumbling maul here off half-back, and a free kick being paid here for a high tackle, which will go the way of the Brisbane Lions. It was Jared Berry who was infringed. Short chip across here to Wilmot at centre half-back.
Loving the energy of the Suns. Every time there's a contested ball or uncontested ball to be won, they're hard at it at the moment.
Jasper Fletcher, last week's rising star nom. A little kick here to Gunston, the former Hawk, on the outer side.
Oh, he's got some more pace than his dad there, Fletcher. Obviously takes after Narelle, his mum.
Signed a new contract during the week as well, Jasper Fletcher. They'll switch here, the Lions. Back across to the right half-back area. On the flank, Coleman. Has Casbolt closing him down eventually. Short kick, or sort of middle distance kick up the line here on the bounce for Dunkley. Lions make their way forward here. Hand pass soft to the man bursting by in Lohman. He gets in front of Ainsworth. His kick though wobbles inside 50, only just. Knocked away by Powell in defence. Lohman lays a tackle down there on Flanders. And now it's more intensity there from Powell on McCluggage. Out of bounds for a throw-in. 65 around from the Lions attacking goal, southern end of Carrara. Gold Coast by 6 points, 2-2, plays 1-2, 23 gone first term.
Haven't seen any buys from these Queensland umpires yet.
No, I was about to say, you'd want to be straight down the line. A throw across half forward, beautifully rowed by Atkins, gave it back to Swallow, who kicks it towards centre wing. Well read by Kadeem Coleman coming back with the flight. Takes it in front of Harris Andrews and Ben King, and he goes 45 degrees to Rayner. Rayner right on the logo, commentary wing here at Carrara. The Gold Coast crowd cheering now as he tries to measure a pass to the lead there of McCarthy, fisted away by McAndrew. At ground level, Lohman absolutely belted. He's over the ball too. The umpire doesn't ping him for holding it. He's going to come in and ball it up 55 out from the Lions' goal.
Free kick there.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Here it goes. Witts wins it down, but not really advantages. The Lions have numbers around the football. Dunkley. Rayner pedals it away here as well. Ellis for company. Spun the tackle, went away to Coleman though. Off a step. High ball inside 50 here for Brisbane. Out the back. Cameron! Got superb separation on Sean Lemons. Controls the one-hander. That's a specky if there ever was one. Deep in the right forward pocket here for the Brisbane Lions.
I don't think he got any separation. He was still holding on to him. And Charlie, how did he grab that? I'd like to see the replay on that one. What a ripper.
Just ripped it clear in the contest with Lemons. Here he is, Charlie Cameron. He'll open up the angle. Deep in that right forward pocket. And just nurses it through. For Brisbane's second. Scores level in the Q clash. 2-2, 14 apiece. 24 gone first term grandstand AFL. Jason Ackermanis and Jeff White.
It's almost like it gone past Lemons and he marked it behind his head.
He marked it on his shoulder. You don't really see Charlie take a lot of those contested one-on-ones, but what a super grab. You see this on the replay there. In the end, he had to sort of half throw him away from him, Charlie, because Lemons just had a strong grip on him. Could have been a free kick either way, but great mark.
Great defence from Lemons, actually. There's nothing more he could have done there.
And the kick, too, from Kitty Coleman.
Beautiful.
As it was speculative, it went right to where Charlie Cameron was in the pocket.
And the thing they love about that, too, is when they kick it inside forward 50, if there's a spoil, it's going to be a stop play. It doesn't open you up because you're kicking it into the V.
And once again, it's the depth of the kick. The Lions have scored now 51 goals from within 15 metres in 2023.
That's, we love that.
9 more than any other team.
They're going deep.
Richard, love that.
So it's another kick towards the forward 50 for Brisbane. Off hands, beautifully roved there by Powell, gathered. Got the handball away. Humphrey in the corridor now. His kick smothered by Dunkley. It's going to favour Brisbane. Lockie Neal got the handball back to Dunkley on the wing. Under pressure, he got it back there to McCarthy, who followed up. Great tackle by Holman, dislodged the ball towards the boundary line, and it'll beat both number 4s in Kalachi and Brandon Ellis over the boundary. Next to the interchange gates, we'll get a throw in.
The Suns have improved their tackling. They've been really good the last few weeks.
And their pressure today already has been outstanding.
Scores level, 2-2, 14 apiece. Witts and McInerney in the ruck. And he was being held. Umpire says play on. Hand pass from Humphrey, towed forward by Anderson. Marked here by Roses. Not 15 play on. The umpire will ball up on the logo.
There you go, Pricey. That's 15 there. I know you were always hot on that. That was 15.
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Up it goes. Witts punches it away. So too does Conor McKenna. They go forward of halfway again, the Lions. Kick skids inside 50, a little too wide of Hipwood, and goes out of bounds for a throw-in right on the junction of 50 at right half forward for Brisbane.
21-15. The tackles now in favour of the Gold Coast Suns, just indicative of the pressure.
Well, they probably had to chase a little bit as well, but if they're winning the ball, they're winning the ball.
Scores a level, 26 gone of the first term. Q Clash 25. And we've got a hot one on our hands. Off hands, Brandon Ellis off a step towards centre wing. Ben King did beautifully in the body work, and then Harris Andrews gathered the ball anyway and gave it to Kadeem Coleman, who drills it to centre half forward. That is a magnificent kick to McCluggage. He kicks it, takes it on the 50-metre arc, and this is where he kicked the first goal in the first couple of minutes.
Same spot. That flag, though, I'm looking at, that wind looked like it's dropped off.
But what about the smarts from McCluggage? Realise as soon as he's one step ahead. He knows he's a left footer. Where's the space?
Yep. And he's already gone out of that.
Beautiful lead.
He's gone.
So he's got to kick this one from 55. That's a nice looking kick. Has it got the distance? It's faded right at the last minute, one behind. So the Lions hit the front. 15 plays 14. 26 gone first term.
Atkins.
Hasn't he started to play well now after those injuries?
Some space in the left back pocket. Kicks out here beyond defensive 50. Ainsworth presents and marks at left half back. The Suns try and make their way forward to that half back line now. McAndrew sees a lateral pass by foot. McAndrew, who was dropped after missing a team bus last month. Kicks up the line here toward the logo. King leads out, but going back there, McCluggage drops back and takes an intercept mark here for the Lions. They work their way forward of halfway again here. It's marked by Wilmot. Slows things down though. Opts not to run and gun, just settles things down here for the Lions. 2-2, lead by a point. 2-3, 15 plays 2-2, 14. Short kick to Dunkley at right half forward now for Brisbane.
Scoreboard hasn't updated it. You'll get used to that after a while. Spriggy up here, and there's an intercept mark taken there by McAndrew. He's done well. He goes. It's a wobbly kick, dangerous towards the goal square to transfer the ball. Ballard did well to gather, and by foot he finds Lukosius still inside defensive 50 for the Suns, and the Lions have set up well in front of him.
He could have a shot from there.
He might as well. He can kick the ball. That's a beautiful kick. That's a 60-metre kick towards centre wing. It goes right next to the boundary line, and Holman duly fists it over there so the boundary line umpire can do his work on the Nerang River wing. The Lions have taken over just underneath the grandstands here at Carrara, fully in shade. Beautiful day for footy.
So that's the nicest place for Saturday twilight footy, this place. And the artificial light takes over. Beautiful hues across that sky as the Lions work their way forward. Too distracted as they go inside forward 50. Danaher shows the tackle of Collins. Wastes the hand pass though. Gathered down there and across the chops from Lukosius. It'll be a free kick going the way of Zorko.
Joey, what are you doing, Joey? He did everything right then. He actually got out of the tackle and then he got confused. I'll pass it off, be unselfish. He could have had a shot.
This will be a blood rule, I reckon. Zorko's got some blood on his forehead. I just saw just then. Probably when he turns around. Oh, no, it's just a big bandage.
It's a big Band-Aid.
Big Band-Aid. Look at it.
It looks giant, enormous on him, mate. He's not that small, is he? It's got to be the biggest Band-Aid I've ever seen.
Dane Zorko on the quarter-time siren in his 22nd Q Clash. The former skipper on the approach and makes no mistake. Momentum at the first change for the Brisbane Lions. 3-3-21 to the Gold Coast Suns, who are 2-2-14. And that first quarter went just under half an hour here at Carrara on the Gold Coast. Goal kickers. There was that one to Zorko. McCluggage kicked the first goal of the game for the Brisbane Lions, and Charlie Cameron, for the back of a nice mark in the pocket, also has a major, while Ben King has the Gold Coast Suns only 2 goals so far. 3-3-21 plays 2-2-14 on Grandstand AFL. This is across ABC Radio, News Radio, and of course via the ABC Listen app.
Hi, this is Craig Rucastle. I'd love you to join me to continue the war on waste. I'll be doing some investigating to find out where our waste is coming from.
Half a tonne of food, chuck it out.
And sharing some practical tips on the little, big and somewhere in the middle things that you can do to reduce your waste and protect our planet.
Are you up for the challenge?
Join me for Season 3 of The War on Waste. 8:30 Tuesday nights on ABC TV and streaming on ABC iView.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
There's a free kick in play, and that might be against... Well, I thought it might have been against Dunkley. It's going to Josh Dunkley. He stands the mark, chips it inside 50. Lazy defence by the Suns. The mark taken there by McCluggage. So Hugh McCluggage from 50. He lays into this one. That's a fair start for the Brisbane Lions. The first goal on the board.
Lukosius just forward to the wing. And again, they're surging forward in the red and gold jumpers here. Lukosius called to play on. Needs the entry now. Leading up again, Ben King. What?
Great dude.
Easy grab, 20 out directly in front. There he is for back-to-back Gold Coast Suns majors. He sneaks it through. Rayner held it away here as well. Ellis for company. Spun the tackle all the way to Coleman, though. Off a step. High ball inside 50 here for Brisbane. Out the back, Cameron! Got superb separation on Sean Lemons. Controls the one-hander. Here he is, Charlie Cameron. He'll open up the angle. Deep in that right forward pocket. And just nurses it through.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
Q Clash 25 at Carrara. The Brisbane Lions lead by 7 points at the first change. Earlier in Geelong, the Cats went down to Fremantle by 7 points in the game where Chris Scott became the longest-serving coach in Geelong history. So Freo win that by 7 points at Glenelg Park, and at Ballarat it was the Giants by 5 points over the Western Bulldogs. Later on, Essendon versus Sydney at Docklands, and of course it's Showdown 54, Adelaide versus Port Adelaide Oval, still to come a little later on. In the meantime, here your experts are Jason Nakamanis and Jeff White.
Good start there, Whitey, for both teams. Tackle pressure from the Suns, very good. Got through the corridor. You've mentioned that many times. Great to see Ben King get a couple of goals. He looks quite lively up front, but geez, this is a bit of an arm wrestle. I suppose we'll see as the game goes on, but I feel like Brisbane will get on top, but good start from the Suns.
Yeah, well, the tackling pressure and the pressure off the ball, the balance around that when the ball is in dispute is really, really good from the Suns. They're just finding that balance really, really powerful, and they're being able to get the turnovers across the middle of the ground, which is really effective going back inside their forward 50, because then it doesn't allow the Lions' backs to set up, and they've been able to expose them a few times. But yeah, you just feel that the poise, especially the latter half of that first quarter, the poise that Brisbane have, and they've done this extremely well this year, the Lions, when they are able to, I think really the power of a strong side and the maturity of a side is to understand when a side's got a bit of a run on, or when they've got a bit of momentum. You just sort of suck that away from them, and they're able to do that, the Lions. They did that a little bit, that latter half of that first quarter, and it resulted in 2 more goals. So I really find the balance that they're doing is really mature.
I'll be interested to see what Kingy does, because at the moment you've got Lachie Neale and you've got Tuke Miller going head-to-head. They're not doing anything. They're just nullifying each other. Like if you want the Suns to be a little bit more potent, wouldn't you want Tuke to get his hands on the ball a bit more?
Yeah.
I don't see the point if it's not a guy who's really is not as skillful or as creative as Tuke Miller is.
Well, the interesting part about that is that Matt Rowell, I don't think, has been in the centre bounce. He started at the half forward, came off, then he's gone back onto the half forward. So I wonder whether that's a ploy from Kingy also to then maybe get, hey, Took, you go at him. You want Took in the middle, of course, but then you get, say, a Matt Rowell in there. But Matt Rowell's been really good. When they've had stoppages in the forward line, he's been really effective in nullifying, keeping it inside their forward line. But, yeah, interesting to see how that unfolds. As you know, it takes a lot of extreme effort. If you not only going for the ball, but you're also going at another opponent, it drains you out, and they were going really hard in that first quarter.
Well, I reckon Matty Rowell will go into the midfield in the hope that he will start extricating the ball as he does.
Yeah, well, he's walking into the midfield now.
He's walking in now. So yeah. I think he's sort of, that was the other thing with the Suns. They were always terrible before because they'd keep Took, Miller and Rowell in there for too long. Didn't have enough depth, and now you've got Ned Flanders going well. You've got Anderson going well. It's actually really helped.
Brisbane by 7 points at quarter time. Any more numbers, Michael Price?
Well, I'm just interested. The forward 50 16-8 in favour of Brisbane. They've spent 57.7% of the time in their forward half. They've only generated the 7 shots from 16 as opposed to the Gold Coast 5 from 8. So Gold Coast way more efficient than Brisbane have been.
Light Tower's taking full effect here. This Saturday twilight fixture. The 25th Q Clash. Close one so far. Can the Gold Coast Suns stay with the informed Brisbane Lions? Into the second term we go. Wits against McInerney again. Near perfect bounce. Went down by the big O. Only as far as Miller though. Hand past the Rowell. There he is at the centre bounce. Goes forward of halfway on his left boot inside 50. A little too deep was the kick for Lukosius. At the back, Coleman brought to ground by Holman. The umpire says, let's ball it Upman. 25 out from goal at the southern end.
Exactly like we said. Now you see Rowell in there. All of a sudden, a little bit more potent.
Fresh legs.
Yeah, a little bit more potent.
So the umpire throws it up immediately. McInerney gets it down into the path of Anderson, who gets it to his boot. It's a sky ball. Won't go the required distance anyway. Off hands, Harris Andrews gathers. He's taken off the ball. Front and square Roses. Tried to get through traffic. Towed it forward. Picked up by Casbolt. Has a flying ping, does Big Levi, and boy, oh boy, nearly broke the behind post. On the full, it smashed into it Lee Matthews style, and it's still wobbling.
It looked like Lee Matthews hit that. Oh, man.
It's out of bounds on the full. Zane Bojack.
Yeah, an interesting one here on the bench. Jasper Fletcher's taken some tablets, whether they're painkillers or salt tablets, because it is quite warm, actually, for a winter's day. But, yeah, great contest here, guys.
McKenna kicks in here for the Lions. Out the back, it was overrun by Archie. Suns... The numbers around the football. Atkins to Mac Andrew. Standing start. High ball inside 50 again. Holman waiting for it. This time it was spoiled by McKenna and Coleman behind him. Worked toward the pocket. Kept alive by Casbolt. Flanders gives chase and he brings Neal to the deck. Over the boundary line for a throw-in. Deep at right, full forward for the Gold Coast Suns.
It's like it's a target. Every Gold Coast player, every time they see Lockie Neal, go after him.
Yeah.
No change to our quarter-time score. Brisbane by 7 points here, 20 seconds into this second term.
Not much fun when you're really good. Let me tell you.
Spoken from experience, haven't you?
Oh, my God.
The throw in McInerney from the back position, gets it to his own advantage, then tries the soccer tactics, promotes it a couple of metres forward. It came off the side of his boot, went over the boundary line, and the Gold Coast crowd wanted deliberate. Fair income. It was more deliberately clumsy than anything else. We'll get a throw in.
A long way down.
Just inside attacking 50 for the Suns, underneath the small scoreboard that shows the Lions leading by 7.
Back in it comes. Up in front, Witts, Miller and Dunkley. Getting a duel there. Miller extracts the football. Run down by McCluggage. Ball bounces loose in the pocket. Kept alive by Lohman for the Lions. Brings it beyond defensive 50. Up goes Powell. Back with the flight, though, it was Archie. And now a contest on the wing. Knocked out of bounds by Collins in his 100th game this afternoon. Very throw-in members side here at Carrara. Brisbane 3-3. The Gold Coast Suns are 2-2.
How much money you reckon Collins saves because he just doesn't cut his hair, doesn't shave?
He's got that very shaggy sort of appearance, doesn't he, with the mustache?
A lot of money there.
Back in it comes. And now a ball up on the wing. So 3 minutes gone, second term. And slow start to this second quarter at Carrara.
Still plenty happening off the ball with Miller versus Neal. Now McInerney smacks it forward 10 metres. Neal runs onto it and he's taken a little high as he promotes it forward. Rayner took it over the boundary line though. And it's going to be a throw-in right in front of the grandstand commentary box.
Great work there from Powell, though. Identify that there was a free, that they separated themselves from the stoppage. He had to come off his man.
Now back together again, Tuke Miller, Lockneil. This is a fascinating battle between two Jets as you've got McInerney slapping it forward. Rowell under pressure from McCluggage, who ended up stealing it. Still being held, McCluggage. Got the handball away there to Dunkley. His ground ball to Archie. Clever handball to the sprint of Kadeem Coleman. The left foot. He tried to measure the pass to Rayner on the arc of 50. Well read there by Atkins, who dropped and took it on his chest and slows things down for the Gold Coast Suns.
The former Crow looks for the options. Comes back to the short side here for Tuke Miller. The right half back. Infield now for Anderson. No real conviction here for the Gold Coast Suns and their defensive half.
Tell you what, the Queensland umpires, don't they have a head of hair? It's not one bald one in there.
So it's worked up the line here and it's marked on the chest of Flanders. If you missed it earlier, Michael Price points out that all 4 umpires are local Queenslanders.
Correct.
So that is...
first time ever.
It's rare. Infield it comes for Tuke Miller. And he can find Holman. So the way to pass by foot. Holman marks just forward of the wing. He wastes no time though. Anderson had got back there at half forward. So it's a slow, patient build up here for the Gold Coast, who trail by 7 points. Noah Anderson loads up into the pocket. King leads. Second guy can't pull it down. Got a push though. It's a free kick going the Gold Coast Suns' way. Either it was the contact on King or it was Holman. Yes, it will come back the way of Ben King.
Yeah, I thought he almost karate chopped him straight across.
Yeah, straight it back.
Got the mush.
Yeah.
That was a free kick.
I quite like that play from the Suns, though. It was slow, like you were saying, Spriggy, but I like the fact that they're getting the lines to defend. They're not rushing the ball going forward.
If they get a goal here, it's not for nothing either. So Ben King, 2 goals in the first quarter. Tough angle. Deep in the right forward pocket. Drop punt on its way. Misses just for a minor score. And the Gold Coast Suns are 2-3-15. Brisbane 3-3-21. 6 goal in second term here at Carrara on Grandstand AFL.
First score of the second quarter is a behind as the Lions bring it in quickly. Now it's with Jack Payne. Long kick in the Danaher direction. That's a beautiful kick. And it's landed in Danaher's arms just short of centre wing commentary side. He measures the 20-metre pass to Dunkley. Dunkley gathers. Again, the Suns are set up well in front of him too, so he goes a little bit more towards the corridor onto the logo. Charlie Cameron's made his way up the ground to take a mark. Lots of movement around, but lots of one-on-one movement behind the players leading. As Cameron wheels around now, kicks it long. At the back of the pack, Danaher takes a juggler. That's a mark not paid.
How was that?
He kicks it now under pressure. Hipwood takes a mark. Not paid either. But he's paid a free kick across the shoulders on the arc of 50.
That was 15 metres. That was a mark. So was that.
And then that was a free kick that they eventually paid.
Well, there you go. It's all going to work out in the end, as Eric Hipwood is going to have a shot, 45-degree angle to the left. And this is in his wheelhouse. It's within it and just a matter of accuracy for Eric. He's taken the long run up too. This is almost in Ben Brown territory run up. It's a good 30 metres.
Joel Garner more like it. It's near the bench.
So Eric Hipwood lopes up. Gets to 55. He unloads. It's going to go across the face. And one behind results. So 2-3 plays 3-4. 7 points the margin again in favour of Brisbane.
Powell to kick out. He was busy last week against the Giants in Canberra. As the defence was under a lot of pressure that time against Greater Western Sydney. Short kick to McPherson. Half volley here. Flanders looks for a way beyond defensive 50 to the run now of Hollins. Shrugs the tackle of Lyman. Dispossessed. They'll be holding the ball.
It is.
Absolutely.
Great tackle.
Super tackle.
Lyman, of course, in the side this week for Will Ashcroft. He was the sub last week. Now on the 22. Lyman from the outer wing. Call to play on now. Pops it high inside 50. Mac Andrew through his fingertips. Out the back, Ellis for the Suns. Just tumble it beyond defensive 50. We'll come back here for a whistle on play. And it will be a free kick the way of the Gold Coast Suns. Mac Andrew in that contest a short time ago.
Marking infringement.
Sounds kind of vague, doesn't it? Marking infringement.
Yeah.
I guess he was.
What happened? He was
had the arms chopped or something.
Someone hushed him.
Brisbane by 7 points as Mac Andrew sends the Suns beyond defensive 50 for Hollins.
Elijah Hollins now from left half back, long down the wing. Casbolt the target. Well spoiled there by Jack Payne. Swallow at the foot of the pack though. His ball turned over, picked up by Starcevic. He gave it back to Conor McKenna, the Irishman now going back towards the goal, and then he does a U-turn, tries a little around the corner kick to Harris Andrews in the back pocket. It bounced away from Harris Andrews.
He had no interest in getting that, Harris Andrews.
It's going to be a throw-in, 30 metres out in the left forward.
He let that run out.
Oh, Conor McKenna, he can try some magnificent things, and most of the time they come off too, just quietly, but that one a little unique in the scheme of things. The throw-in, left forward pocket now. Witts gets it down. It's picked up by Neil. A handball there to Kadeem Coleman puts him under pressure from Ainsworth. He still gets it back to Wilmot. Off one step, he puts a towering ball towards half-back. Witts in front, gathered, handball backwards. It's going to be turned over. No, going in now, Powell, but he has turned it over. Rayner gets a handball away. It's scrappy on the outer side, plenty of pressure. Picked up by Mac Andrew, who's tackled into the ground by Zorko, and we'll get a ball up between the wing and left half forward on the outer side of the ground.
Playing very similar games, both sides. So it's all about pressure and territory.
Up it goes. One down to Rowell. Slips the tackle of Dunkley. Effective hand pass here. Flanders puts them inside 50 again. The Suns, he doesn't out of bounds on the full. So pressure from the Lions on the kicker means they'll get possession back here. Brisbane at right half back with a 7-point lead in their favour. 3-4-22 plays 2-3-15. 10 gone second term. Up the line they come. The skids out on the bounce to Jared Witts. Suns get the ball back. Hollins obliges, takes the mark just forward of halfway. It's his third game back. Played the first 4 games, was out of favour since then. Elijah Hollins was okay last week in the game at Manuka. High inside 50 they go. Out the drop, Starcevic in defence, was beaten in fact by Swallow. Out in support in attack was Holman. His hand pass ricochets off Wilmot. Goes out of bounds for a throw-in deep in the left forward pocket for the Gold Coast Suns.
It's just arm wrestle, isn't it? You get it halfway and it's a turnover, then it's going back and forth.
So the lead's still 7 points as it was at quarter time. Only one behind a piece as the throw-in happens inside the Suns forward 50. Goes down to the feet of David Swallow, off his toes. He could have been pushed in the back by Starcevic. The ball spills towards McKenna. Handball now to Wilmot. Now that's a rushed kick. He's just going to get it outside defensive 50. Beautifully judged by Ballard against Hipwood. That's a really good mark over his right shoulder, and he laces one out. Good pass, but well done by Coleman, who cut across the lead of Ainsworth and fisted it over the boundary line for a throw-in underneath the small scoreboard that shows the Lions leading by 7.
Yeah, that's great defence there. He knew where the space was there, Kadeem Coleman. He just had to come off and went for it.
Jeff White, Jason Ackermanis with us on Grandstand AFL at Carrara. The Q Clash 25. Back in it comes. One down for the Lions. Dunkley was met head-on down there by Witts on the follow-up, and the umpire will ball up.
Was that friendly fire? That could be.
I think it was Dunkley. Yeah, I think Neil might have been there as well.
Yeah, nearly a free kick.
Witts hit the deck.
It was his teammate.
Witts and McInerney. McInerney tries to work it away. Rowell traps it here. Kick was smothered. It was great work down there by Starcevic. Comes back to the hot spot here for the Suns. Casbolt flies at the drop. Coleman will not. Hand pass out wide. Gunston can rebound now for Brisbane.
Gunston lowers the eyes and hits Jared Berry on the lead. Nice pass. He takes the mark at right half back in front of Mac Andrew. He slows things down now. The Suns doing this beautifully as far as spreading their defence and holding the Lions up. So he goes laterally to the left. Harris Andrews further in the left back pocket to the Kadeem Coleman now.
Looked like it's just come off the interchange bench. You love that one.
He snuck there. It was only a 10-metre trip from the interchange bench to left half back. He received the mark, and then that's a beautiful 40-metre pass to the wing to find Jasper Fletcher. He peels around. The 45-degree kick to the jumping jack, Lincoln McCarthy. Takes the chest mark. He measures a pass towards Danaher, who sat there, waited for it. Rory Atkins said, nah, I'll cut across and take the intercept mark.
Waste no time. Short kick to Anderson at centre half back.
It's really got to go quick, the Suns.
He slowed things down for a second, Anderson. Short kick here to Holman. On the wing now. Looks at the options. Goes searching inside 50. Casbolt leads up and marks. 45 out, slightly to the right. He goes on in turn deep to the pocket now for Ben King, who's unmarked. Bit of miscommunication down there in the Brisbane Lions back line. Ryan Lester gave him far too much room, and Ben King will take his set shot from deep in the left forward pocket for a chance at his third goal.
And that's how you get that forward pressure. You get that scoreboard pressure. Once you turn it over on that half-back line, you've got to go quick against Lions.
So Ben King, after a goalless month, here he is for goal number 3 this evening. He makes no mistake. Back to a 1-point game. The Gold Coast Suns are 3-3-21. The Brisbane Lions 3-4-22. We've played now 13 and a half minutes in this second term on Grandstand AFL.
I'll tell you the problem. The problem was McCarthy's kick inside, because what happened is Collins has come up, which meant that Joey was free. He's come back. He needed to be a kick. It just had some height in it. In the end, he tried to burn a nice low one, and Atkins got the turnover. And, of course, that's where they've built their defence to come back through. They've just owned the corridor again. I don't know how Ben King got that far by himself, considering he had plenty of time to go get picked up.
Well, that's the work rate, isn't it? And he's done that twice now. It's that ability to work back and then go really deep, so he spread the defence. But I don't mind that from McCarthy. That's how they play. They like to chip it and get that inside forward 50 that way. But it was great defence by Atkins.
So there's halfway through the second quarter, Lachie Neale's had 5 disposals against Tuke Miller in the middle here as the Lions win the clearance. Dunkley, and his kick curled around the corner, cut off by Brandon Ellis on the outer wing. He chips it forward now to Atkins, who's grown an extra foot, and fair dinkum has gone a metre faster in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he's looked good. He's come back finally uninjured.
Talk about rejuvenated as he goes to the outer wing now on the left foot, inside 50. Ben King flies off his knuckles towards the boundary line. Lukosius escorts the ball over, and we'll get a throw in 40 metres out.
I like what you said there, Acco, about at the start of the game about King. Just go for your marks. You know, you're not going to mark all of them, but look what he's doing at the moment. He's kicked 3, but he's going for his marks, but his work rate's up there.
Lively, and he's getting reward for effort. He's kicked all their score.
Lions by a point. Back in it comes inside the Suns attacking zone here. Just possessed down there was Humphrey. Ellis lurking though in attack, and the umpire says it's balled up.
They're going to have to transition better here, Brisbane. They've got to be a bit cleaner out of these stoppages. Lachie Neale needs to get his hands on the ball.
Slapped down by Casbolt. Overrun by Archie. Goes again, does Archie. Rebound successfully here, this time for the Lions. McAndrew, towering grab on the outer wing. Will again put the Suns back in attack, although he sort of flares it across the centre circles for Collins, the milestone man. Short kick comes from hand pass from Flanders to Anderson. His kick scribs inside 50. Miss Wilmot and Ainsworth in there as well. Lohman gathers. He was dispossessed. Humphrey bursts by here for the Suns. Off half forward they go. Swings it across to the flank where it's marked by McPherson. The forward come back. He's back in the forward line this occasion, goes inside forward 50. Danaher with a sport from behind on Casbolt. At the drop though, Ellis fires on goal from 35. What about that from the former Tiger? A goal to lift the Gold Coast Suns back into the lead from Brandon Ellis. 4-3-27 plays 3-4-22. 17 going second term. This is Grandstand AFL.
It was a scrappy kick inside forward from Noah Anderson, but because they had the Suns forwards had their starting positions, they weren't crowding each other, they had a really good spread, they were able to lock it inside their forward 50 and get that repeat entry. So it was well set up there from the Suns. It wasn't the best kick inside forward 50, but geez, it was rove really well by Ellis.
And that's just the old chaos ball. But that said, whoa, how did that not hit the post? Looked like it actually shaved the paint. It was that good. But Brandon Ellis, he's an experienced player, but it's always great to see him. He has such a big role at the wing, runs a mile, and good goal.
20 inside 50s to 17 in favour of the Brisbane Lions. The Gold Coast much more efficient, 53% efficiency inside 50 to the Lions 40. That translates to a 5-point lead for the Suns. Back into the middle. McCluggage couldn't quite get the ball to boot, and it's an absolute rugby scrum. The umpire is going to come in and ball it up just on the edge of the centre circles. Last man up was Lachie Neale, just trying to get his hands on the ball. It's been a ding-dong battle between he and Miller. Now Rayner, inside 50. Collins versus Danaher. Collins with strength. Can't control it at the back. Picked up by Lohman. Tackled off the ball. Now McAndrew with a chance for the Suns. Again, he's tackled off the ball. It spills now to Lemons. Off a step, the left foot is high. Wilmot and Rayner. Wilmot with Rayner touching in the middle, and also Starcevic gets it over now to Berry, to half forward. Archie back to Berry, back to McCluggage, double team, tackle, into the ground. The Suns are sensing something here.
That pressure is unbelievable at the moment.
They're handballing the stationary men with their feet flat.
Yeah.
Got to get on the move.
Gold Coast by 5, approaching time on second term. Wits down to Anderson. Breaks the tackle of Rayner. Hand pass out in space for Powell. Running by Swallow. Winds back the clock here, Swallow. Off to the run of Roses. Who runs into Lohman, dispossessed. Sort of fell over and got contact. I don't know if it was intentional from Lohman, but it's a free kick anyway. The Gold Coast Suns. Hands off here to Atkins. Down the corridor now. Lead up of Casbolt on the chest. Great presentation, great kick, and Casbolt is directly in front, 45 metres out.
This was a beautiful kick from Atkins, and a great identification there just to get the ball going.
Gets the hand pass off. Casbolt to Atkins from 55. It's a little shy. Spoiled away by Andrews. Out in the pocket. Ellis keeps it alive here. Kicked the last goal of the game. Now comes inboard to find Atkins again. This time he's on the 45-degree angle, 50 metres out. So comes back into the corridor. Andrew was waiting for it. Danaher, Hipwood coming late. Knocked down here towards Zorko. The Lions can rebound. A short kick to Danaher. He can go on the angle again here for Rayner. Showing good pace. Running by. Up inside forward 50. Cameron's down there. He's outnumbered. Gets some separation again though on Lemons. Taps into the pocket. Lemons just neutralises that. Little flick pass or a little tap out the back toward the line. But the umpire's going to say here. No.
Deliberate.
He said deliberate.
It should have been deliberate.
No, he's saying it's a Gold Coast free kick.
Yeah, but it should have been deliberate for. Was it Lemons?
It was Lemons.
Yeah, Lemons. Yeah.
So he's
come back onto Charlie's foot.
Must have been okay. Yeah. So it's out of bounds Brisbane, and kick comes from Ballard up to the wing. Out the drop, Neal. Back to Starcevic, back to Lockie Neal.
Oh, he gets his hands on the ball. He's still got Miller for company. He puts it 20 metres forward to Jared Berry. He now wheels around. The right foot is a long one. Danaher and Hipwood at the front. Hipwood! He's taken it. Yes, the umpire has paid that. That's a good one grabber from Eric. Good contested mark. 35 out. Very tight angle to the left.
Yeah, nice kick in, but we like to see him. He's got to mentally play well at this ground because of his injury, and that's always the case. You've got to come here, put on a good performance, and just to raise the demons. And not the easiest shot here for Big Eric, but that said, he'll do his confidence no harm at all.
So we're right behind it in the grandstand commentary box.
Collins and Joey Danaher are going at it. The umpires are looking at it closely.
Wrestling on the line. Danaher wouldn't want to give away a free kick. Hipwood from 30. It's across the face of goal. Barely squeaks in for one behind. 4-3 plays 3-5. It's a 4-point margin in favour of the Gold Coast Suns.
So, Atkins to kick out again.
He's got numbers everywhere.
Also the options. He does eventually go to the outer side here for the run of Ballard. He was off quickly. Umpire says play on. Charlie Ballard off a couple of steps toward that outer wing. Starcevic floats up, intercepts here for the Brisbane Lions. And the visitors go back on the attack. Coleman to Berry. His brother Tom's on the Gold Coast list, of course. Was a former Lions teammate. Now a chain of short kicks here ends up with Archie on the members' wing.
Good movement by Kadeem Coleman.
He's down there and marking here. We'll send it all the way back here for the co-captain Harris Andrews. Patient build up here again. Starcevic back to the outer side. Can they slingshot their way forward here? Little kick from Leicester off to Wilmot. Dinky little kick on the bounce from McCluggage. Rao gives chase. McCluggage works a hand pass very wide of the boundary line here. It was one that this time it was deflected away. The kick it was from Fletcher by McPherson. The Suns can rebound through Ellis, and it's marked by Roses at centre half back.
Pinpoint kick from Brandon Ellis, applauded by the crowd. The run past was Rowell. Received the handball, kick to Lukosha, spoiled. Roving, Miller, beautiful. Handball over the top to Swallow, the original Sun from 45. Under a lot of pressure. And kicks it, bouncing over the boundary line in the left forward pocket. There will be a throw in. Good movement from the Suns, and Tuke Miller now up to 10 touches. His opponent Lock Neal up to 8. It's a ding-dong battle of the midfielders.
And they got it there because of the ability of Alice to take a risk to the midfield then.
Back in it comes. Missed both rucks. Anderson there. Touches it clear. He snaps across his body and he misses the lot to the outer side. Across the face for a out of bounds on the full. So I'll waste no time here, the Brisbane Lions. Harris Andrews kicks back into Berry. Wide again for Jasper Fletcher.
The son of Adrian. He's only a couple of commentary boxes up the road.
Son of Piggy. Was his nickname, of course.
Kadeem Coleman receives the ball on the boundary line. Must be a proud man, the young Jasper Fletcher. An electric start to his career. Now it's chipped forward at right half-back.
One of the finest guys ever too, Piggy Fletcher.
Ryan Lester. Back to Kadeem Coleman. The Gold Coast set up well, and Coleman now, dangerous kick. He tries to put it 45, spoiled, and it's free on the ground. King, handball now. McPherson, 20 metres out, makes them pay. The skill's not quite up to the pressure as the Suns extend their lead. Game high 10 points, 5-3-33 to the Lions, 3-5-23 with 24 gone, second term.
It was a risky kick, but you could see the defensive structure that the Suns got in play. They were attacking, and now all of a sudden the ball turns over. They're getting in defensive mode really, really quickly. So it's not allowing Brisbane, which their strength is to come through the corridor, switch the play, hit it on the 45, and that's how they tear opponents apart. But at the moment, the Suns, they're getting on their defensive side really quick, and they're forcing the slow play from the Lions.
They're getting sucked in, Brisbane, to the slow play. I've no doubt at half-time Chris Fagan will be saying, rightio, enough of that, boy. Let's even up the contest here, one-on-one across the ground. No spares back. We don't need any spares. We'll create it, work harder, and let's see what happens. But, we've got 3.5 minutes to go, so this is a big 3.5 minutes.
A hot first half of the Gold Coast Suns. As Michael Price mentioned, it's a game-high 10-point lead. Out of the middle, Flanders bursts by, has it back to Touk Miller. They win the clearance again here, the Suns. Inside 50, both big men go up there. It's going to be a free kick or a shove going the way of the Brisbane Lions. I think Ben King and Levi Caswell both gave a bit of a nudge there on their opponents.
And 50, yeah.
As well here for
bit of lip.
Zorko, who took a short mark for a short kick, and now it's, as you say, a bit more demonstration there with Levi Casbolt to the umpire.
That is the shortest 50 I've ever seen.
Careful, Levi. They hand pass away here. Andrews to Coleman. Zorko almost run down there by Flanders. Goes inside 50, and Hipwood takes a chest mark in the right forward pocket, no more than 35 metres out.
And that was caused by Oscar McInerney going deep inside forward 50. He got in the way of Ballard, which allowed Hipwood to go. So really good, smart play there from the ruckman.
What's not smart, though, is the dumb free kick in the dumb 50.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Yeah, just giving the ruckman a bit of a plug.
We love ruckman. But this is his third shot on goal here today, Eric. So nice for him to kick one. This is certainly his side for a left footer.
17 goals in 7 games. 2 goals against the Cats last week. Here he is on his preferred side, as Aka said. He's on his way here to the cheer squad end. And they're cheering about that. They stay with them. 4-point game. It's the Suns 5-3-33. Brisbane 4-5-29. Approaching halftime here at Carrara, where we find Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, Cam Rayner's about to come back on. There would have been a few nervous Brisbane Lions fans when they saw the doctor checking the structural integrity of his right knee, but everything seems to be okay. He's not impeded, and he's about to come back out on the field. So just breathe a sigh of relief there, Lions fans.
Might have got a knee on the knee. That said, I was just saying it's only 2.5 minutes. It's now 2 minutes 20, and 3.5 minutes it was. But you don't want to let the Lions get a couple of goals. If anything, the Suns would like to kick a couple. But that said, danger time. They can always kick goals late in quarters, the Lions, and they've just done that. Very nice work.
So the Suns much more efficient inside 50, 12 shots from 21. The Lions 10 shots from 25. Now the Lions will get the clearance. Neal, handball off to the runner, Conor McHenry, chips it inside 50. There he is again. Eric Hipwood on the lead in front. Takes the mark, 35 out, just a slight angle to the left.
They're just showing their class at the moment, aren't they, Brisbane?
Is that Lukosius that's gone back, or is that Ballard?
No, that's Ballard.
They look very similar.
They do look similar. I thought
it's got a Buffon type of gear with the hair.
From this far away, I haven't got the big binoculars you do, but yes.
2 South Australians.
First time the Lions have had some run off the half-back line too inside the centre square.
Once again, Eric starts his run up inside the centre square. Gets inside the arc of 50. From 45, he leans back and hits the post 2/3 of the way up.
Oof.
That's 1 goal free for Eric Hipwood today. 33 plays 30. The Suns by 3 points, 28 gone, second term.
Powell on the kick out. The Suns come beyond defensive 50. High ball to the wing. Players converge. Mac Andrew!
Right,
tunneled in there by Andrews. Strong grab for Mac Andrew. It was a towering grab. Courageous too. Where are his surroundings? Goes high inside forward 50. Coleman floats across here at the drop. Lukosius batters it out in space. Neal leaves it behind. Kadeem Coleman here, and Payne taken him to the boundary line for a throw-in. And a Zane Bojack on the boundary.
Yeah, just with that last contest there, that's a good name for a solicitor's firm, isn't it? Andrew and Andrews?
I was going to say, we've got an Andrew Andrews, a Holman, a Coleman, a Collins and a Hollands. So just, we're finding our way here at Q Clash 25. Towed forward by the Big O. At 2, Sam Collins of the Suns overruns the ball, picked up here by Gunston, spun on the tackle, hand pass off the deck here from Elijah Hollins of the Suns. Witts releases Flanders by hand, and his kick up the line is out of bounds for a throw-in right on the painted 50 in the right forward pocket. The Suns lead by 3 points, 5-3-33, plays 4-6-30, approaching the half-hour mark with half-time looming.
So the umpire's going to throw it in underneath the small scoreboard. Suns by 3 points. Witts in the front position, wrestling against McInerney, picked up by Elijah Hollins, who's dumped into the ground. The umpire says, we'll ball it up on the arc. I thought it might have been a push in the back there.
They don't pay much these days, Prossy.
Yeah, it seems when you drive the face into the dirt, it's a bit different. Off the hands of Hollins now. Well done, Took Miller, Flanders. Back to Hollins. He turns it over. Well done, McLuggage. He got it up, and his handball went straight over the boundary line, and the umpire's going to say that's deliberate. No Lions player there.
20 seconds to go here, so it's an opportunity for the Suns.
So he's 70 from goal. Sam Flanders obviously just a little bit too far out. About 20 seconds to go. Every player on the park just about is in front of him. He kicks it into the pocket. Will be a contested ball. Off hands, Dunkley tracks it to the boundary line, dives over, and with 17 to go, we'll get a throw in.
Dangerous, 17 seconds. The Lions probably can't score. They don't want to be scored on, though.
So, stoppage inside 50 here for the Gold Coast Suns. Pressure seconds left in this first half. Witts out of the ruck. Tries to tow it forward. One away here by the Lions, though. Wilmot to Neal, and now McCluggage can clear beyond defensive 50. Going up, though, and marking. Strong grab by Powell.
Gotta hold it.
He's looked to the bench for a bit of a signal, and he realises now it's half-time, as you can hear there with the sirens. So Will Powell, does he have the shoe for this? He's 60 out.
Got to go barrel.
On an angle that's just better than a 45-degree angle.
Big torpedo. It's your only chance.
We'll be right behind him as he kicks here, so I hope he does go
It'll either go straight or it'll go out of bounds on the full. As Lee Matthews would always say.
You've got to take your chances, Will Powell. Here we go. The continued momentum. How's he holding the ball? He might go a drop punt here. On the approach from 60. Late into it now. It's on target, but coming up a little bit short. And that will be it. No further score, Your Honour. 3 points is the Gold Coast Suns lead at the half. 5-3-33, plays 4-6-30. The goal kickers in this game so far. Ben King has 3 after 4 straight weeks of no goals. Singles to Brandon Ellis and Darcy McPherson, while for the Brisbane Lions, Eric Hipwood has 1 goal, 3 for the Lions. McCluggage, Zorko and Cameron also on the board for the Brisbane Lions, who trail the Gold Coast Suns by 3 points in the 25th edition of the Q Clash. Your experts on Grandstand AFL are Jason Nakamanis and Jeff White.
Well, outstanding first half. Great competition from both sides. I feel that the Suns have been a bit more desperate. Their tackling pressure's been outstanding. Their ability around the contest to have even balance and not have 2 go to 1, so it releases the Brisbane Lions. Took Miller's done an outstanding job on Lockie Neal. So, been a lot of pressure in and under. The Suns have been fantastic with that. Patches there, the Lions have certainly showed their class in getting it inside their forward 50 really efficiently. There's been a few errors that the Suns have made, but I think that the message has certainly been during the week, just try and own the corridor. I don't care if you stuff up. Let's just try and get it through there. Let's try and get the ball, and they've been able to hit those kicks on the 45. One in particular, that one just near the end of that half-time there with Alice going through the middle that resulted in a goal. So the ability is to take it on, take a risk, go through. They haven't gone wide too much, but it's been really, really good. But we've also been able to defend, get on the defensive side really quickly when Brisbane have got the ball. So Acca, this has been an outstanding contest. Something that we wanted to have happen, but certainly the Suns have come to play.
It's a very tight contest. There's no other way to describe it. It has been similar game plans, put the heat on the similar players. They're trying to get one-on-one. Occasionally they're trying to get the spare in defence. Similar scoring shots. The Suns have been a bit more accurate thanks to Big Benny King, who we said before would come out and at any stage he'll get his mojo back. It's back. The Lions have got their hands full. They will change things up because they can. I'm not sure the Suns have another gear, but I know that the Lions do. And if the Lions bring it early in that third, particularly, not just the pressure from the Suns is outstanding and it's what's doing the job, but the ability to run and carry, the handball receives, inside forward 50, a little bit better looks, not as much pressure on the kicking coming in, and I think you'll see a change. The Lions can do that, though.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that, with the extra gear that the Brisbane have. They obviously have the experience there as well, but it's see how the Suns can withstand that. You know, there's going to be times in this second half where the Lions are going to get a bit of a run on how are the Suns going to react, you know. So certainly they definitely have another gear to go, but the Suns, they're coming here fighting, their tackling pressure's been really, really good, and can they withstand that for 4 quarters?
You know what makes me wonder, see, this should be a whole lot fuller. It's
stadium.
Yeah, Lions are up the road. Lions members don't travel. That's what I've learnt. They just don't travel. If they were in second spot, the Suns, they would come. But, yeah, they're just like, we don't. We'll just watch it on TV. And that's a bit of a shame because if the Brisbane Lions had a travelling army like Collingwood, that'd be nearly impossible to beat on.
Oh, yeah. That's a good point you raised there. Because it doesn't matter where Collingwood is on the ladder. They fill a stadium anywhere.
No, they're like the Barmy Army.
They fill a stadium in New Zealand if they had to.
Wouldn't they?
It is strange.
They wouldn't get in because of the passports and stuff.
The biggest crowds across most of the 2-team towns are for the local derbies, or derbies, as you were in Perth. But the biggest crowds on the Gold Coast are Collingwood games. That's actually factually correct. I looked at the all-time list we were here for one of them a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So it is a curious thing, given the Lions are an hour down the road or up the road, that this joint isn't a little more packed. But anyway,
you know why? Because when they get released from prison, the Collingwood fans, they come up and live in the Gold Coast. So that's why there's so many. No, that's not true. I love Craig McRae. I don't like Collingwood, but they have got the best army ever. They travel anywhere. It doesn't matter the GWS. They'll come and watch. And you shouldn't have a 21,000-seat stadium only full when Collingwood plays.
Yeah. I was going to say, your bond with Craig McRae it sort of permits you to make the occasional gag. Anyway, we'll stay away from the corrections. Gold Coast by 3 points at the halftime break here at Carrara. Your texts are welcome, 0437 774 774. Thank you to Mikey from Bendigo for your kind message. Marcus in sunny South Melbourne saying, did Jeff enjoy his old team beating Geelong? A day of upsets. Suns to win. Yeah, of course, the Dockers he's referring to there. More on that after the news, Whitey, so just hold your fire on that. We'll bring you some reaction from Alex Pearce, the Freo skipper, after the Dockers beat the Cats by 7 points in Geelong, and earlier in Ballarat, Greater Western Sydney beat the Western Bulldogs by 5 points. They are great rivals as well, those two sides. Huge win for the Giants, and as I say, every game so important now for the top 8 picture, including this one, Q-Clash 25. The Gold Coast Suns won't go away. In fact, they lead here by 3 points. The second half is not too far away. Right now, though, let's head to the ABC newsroom.
ABC News with Satyam Weinstein. A search is underway for 4 crew members of an Australian Army helicopter after it crashed last night into the ocean near Queensland's Whitsunday Islands. The chopper was taking part in nighttime training activity as part of Exercise Talisman Sabre. Australian Defence and Foreign Ministers have been meeting with their US counterparts for OSMIN talks in Brisbane. Foreign Minister Penny Wong says her thoughts are with the families and search crews.
We are reminded that those who serve our country do so recognising the risk that service entails and demonstrating every day the courage to take on that risk on our behalf. It certainly has meant we've met with heavy hearts today.
The U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says ties between the United States and Australia are stronger than ever. He's in Brisbane alongside the U.S. Secretary of Defence Lloyd Austin for the OSMIN meeting. Mr. Blinken says Australia stands with the United States on many issues.
We have work to do with OSMIN. I have to say that our own alliance, our own partnership is stronger than it's ever been. And for that as well, the United States has tremendous gratitude.
WA Premier Roger Cook says he expects it to be a tight race for the seat of Rockingham in Perth South. Polling's underway for the Rockingham by-election, with voters deciding who will replace the former Premier Mark McGowan following his resignation in May. Labor holds the seat by a margin of 38%. Mr Cook says the Labor candidate, Magenta Marshall, has run a strong campaign, but it will be tough.
We know this is going to be a tight election. There are 9 candidates. We see the retirement of an incredibly popular local member in Mark McGowan, and so we take nothing for granted. We've run a strong campaign, a campaign which talks about the issues that matter most to people.
The Anti-Defamation Commission is calling on the Victorian government to strengthen laws against Nazism after anti-Semitic handbills were distributed in Melbourne's inner east. Victorian and federal police are investigating the document, which included a doctored image of independent federal MPs Monique Ryan and Zoe Daniel with the Nazi salute and a photo of Adolf Hitler. Nazi hate symbols are banned in Victoria, but Dr. Davir Abramovich says the government should consider outlawing the glorification of Nazism more broadly.
And I think not just law enforcement, but every elected official and representative needs to declare in a loud voice that this cannot stand, that we will push back against this cancer of intolerance.
Health sector workers across New South Wales will begin a rolling campaign of industrial action over salary packaging from Monday. Ambulance drivers, hospital cleaners and other allied health workers have voted in favour of industrial action over salary packaging arrangements. Just over half voted to accept the government's flat rate pay rise of $3,500, but the Health Services Union says 70% indicated they want a salary packaging to be tax-free. The United Nations says food aid funding is collapsing while acute hunger is at record levels around the globe. Larry Buttrose has more.
The world body has been forced to cut food, cash payments and related assistance to millions of people because of a funding crisis, with donations halved. World Food Programme Deputy Executive Director Carl Scal says at least 38 of the 86 countries receiving food aid have already experienced cuts. These include places of acute need, such as Afghanistan, Syria, Yemen and West Africa. He says the WFP's basic operating requirement is $30 billion a year, but now it's aiming for just $15 to $20 billion, which is what it's got from donors in the past few years.
German firefighters say there was nothing that could be done after 2 people died jumping from the upper floor of a burning apartment building in Berlin. The pair had no other way to escape when the blaze broke out on the 12th floor of a 15-storey apartment building, while a third person was rescued in a stairwell. Berlin Fire Brigade spokesperson James Klein says it was confronting seeing the 2 others being forced to jump.
When we arrived, the flat on the 12th floor of the 15-storey tower block was ablaze and 2 people were standing on the window ledge. While we were setting up our rescue equipment, the people jumped. We tried to resuscitate them, but they both died at the scene.
And European scientists have guided a British-built satellite to a watery grave in the Atlantic. It's the first of its kind operation. The European Space Agency used satellites' remaining fuel to guide it to an area where the debris posed the least risk. You're up to date with the latest from ABC News.
ABC Listen.
A Russian chef marches on Moscow. The Thai military attempts to hold on to power and prop up an oddball king. And an American ex-president stores classified documents in a toilet and a ballroom. Those plans all backfired, didn't they? I'm Matt Bevan. Join me for a new season of the podcast, If You're Listening, helping you make sense of major news events shaping our world with new episodes weekly. Hear it right now on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Holman on the wing now. Looks at the options. Goes searching inside 50. Casbolt leads up and marks. 45 out, slightly to the right. He goes on in turn deep in the pocket now for Ben King, who's unmarked. So Ben King, after a goalless month, here he is for goal number 3 this evening. He makes no mistake. McPherson, the forward, come back. He's back in the forward line this occasion. Goes inside forward 50. Down to her with a spot from line on Casbolt. At the drop though, Ellis fires on goal 35. What about that from the former Tiger?
Ryan Lester Back to Kadeem Coleman. The Gold Coast set up well, and Coleman now dangerous kick. He tries to put it 45, spoiled, and it's free on the ground. King, handball now. McPherson, 20 metres out, makes them pay.
Levi, hand pass away here. Andrews to Coleman. Zorko almost run down there by Flanders. Goes inside 50, and Hipwood takes a chest mark. He's on his way here to the cheer squad end. They're cheering about that. They stay with them.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio.
ABC Sport Digital.
And now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
The Gold Coast Suns lead by 3 points here midway through Q Clash 25 at Carrara. You're with Brett Sprigg, Michael Price, Jason Nakamanis, Jeff White and Zane Bojack for the third of your 5 games on this Saturday. Earlier, Greater Western Sydney beat the Western Bulldogs by 5 points at Ballarat. They came from 35 points down at one stage to win that game. Just extraordinary for the Giants to now be up into 5th. You'd think they'll stay in the top 8 from here. So a superb first-up effort under Adam Kingsley, his first year as coach. But also a thriller at Geelong, where Freo beat the Cats by 7 points, 10-11-71 to 9-10-64. And afterwards, their skipper, Alex Pearce, spoke to Ian Cohen.
Alex Pearce has been kind enough to join us. Alex, hubbub in the rooms. I think every Dockers fan that's been here at Kardinia Park is now in the room celebrating with you.
Yeah, it's nice. We've got a good family contingent that travels to lots of games, so yeah, they certainly love a win, and they let us know. It's good on them.
What was it like for you out there, dying stages? You know your team's in front, but you know the Cats at home, hard to beat.
Yeah, I think it's against an experienced team like the Cats. You know they're going to keep coming, and they look really dangerous at times throughout the game when we didn't get things right. So it was just making sure we stuck to our principles, stuck to our shape, got our roles done. But all throughout that game, there was just so much trust and faith in each other. Everyone was executing, and no one really had to go outside of their role. It was a really, really good performance from everyone.
For you in particular down back, working with Ryan and yourself, obviously, Tomahawk went off late in the game with what looks to be a hamstring injury, but you'd manned up against him beautifully, shoulder to shoulder.
Yeah, it's always a great battle against the Tomahawk. He's certainly got my number a couple of times, so yeah, I know him probably one or two. So yeah, it's great to battle against the great forwards. It's probably what I remember at the end of my career playing against those blokes. It was a good battle. Really hope that his hammy's all right and he doesn't miss too much footy. He's a great at the game.
What's it like at Kardinia Park? Because the crowd is silent when you kick a goal. They got very animated in the third term, and did that actually help you, the fact that there was so much noise?
I don't know about that. I'm not. You just get a little bit tighter. It's tough not to. I was really proud of our boys in that third quarter when they came at us. The crowd got super loud, and we made a few mistakes, and gave them a couple of easy-ish goals. So proud of us to just stay relaxed, stay calm. That was the message. When games are like that, and that's what we want to play in games where it's high intensity, high pressure. So I was proud of us to be able to stay calm. Sometimes you just got to find the footy, keep the ball a little bit, and we got to three-quarter time in a really good spot, and we knew that we'd given ourselves a really good chance to come back at them in the last quarter.
What did Justin say? You've been in behind closed doors for a while. What did Justin say? That's our footy, and that's what we're capable of. And sometimes when there's external noise and there's some doubt after a poor performance, you cannot trust yourself as much with the ball and without just the way we play. And I think today everyone was really decisive, really clear in their role, and that just looked a lot more like us. So that's what we've got to try and replicate for the rest of the season, because we know that all these games count. All the games count as individuals to grow and get better and to build our brand and our consistency, and we want to finish the season really strong. Given the noise and hubbub in here, where does this victory rank for your footy club?
Look, I haven't been around long enough to rank them. We won a good one here last year. We just want to keep winning them for the rest of the season.
So Alex Pearce, the Freo skipper, after having lost 6 of their past 7, they go to Geelong and beat the Cats on the day that Geelong celebrates Chris Scott becoming their longest-serving coach. So on that, Jeff White, and Paul Middlemass points out that Fremantle have now beaten Geelong twice, at home and away this season. They beat the Swans in Sydney, Now, the only team to have beaten Melbourne at the G, which only probably underlines further the confusion around why they're playing the way they are and the fact that it's probably still too late for them to make the finals. But remarkable result today, and they have had some along the way this year.
Yeah, well, it just shows that they do have a side. They finished they finished fourth last year, or they played off in the finals last year, and and I think that a part of them too would all also be saying, oh my God, the consistency we didn't have this year. Have we, we've let it slip, and it's. But I watched part of that game before we went to air, and they exactly what Alex Pearce said. Then everyone played their role. They were real. Their pressure was right up on Geelong. They didn't allow Geelong to use that kamikaze type of footy they use, particularly when they play down at Kinnear Park off the half-back line. So it was a tremendous effort, tremendous win for the footy club.
So the Cats slipped to 9th for now. In fact, Freo is who the Lions have next week. So Brisbane are away against the Dockers at Perth Stadium in the last game of round 21 next week. Later on tonight, Essendon versus Sydney at Docklands, or Adelaide versus Port Adelaide in the showdown at Adelaide Oval. So coverage of that wherever you are across the nation, you'll have access to either call on the ABC Listen app. Just look for the ABC AFL or the AFL Extra button. But from memory, those in Vic and Taz getting Essendon and Sydney. We'll preview that at three-quarter time here. And the showdown coming up for everyone else. Of course, there's also Bledisloe Cup going on. There's the Women's World Cup, where we have a live call now of the game between Sweden and Italy. It's 0-0 in the first half. Of course, just look for the ABC Listen app. There's the Netball World Cup ongoing as well as the Rugby League, which, by the way, had a win to Newcastle over Canberra earlier, 28-6. And in the first half, St George Illawarra 8 leads the Manly Warringah Sea Eagles 4. Here in Q Clash 25, it is the Gold Coast Suns looking for their first win in a crosstown rivalry in 5.5 years. That was their last win against the Lions, round 5, 2018. They lead here by 3 points. The question is, Jason Akermanis and Jeff White, can they stay there?
They can. That's going to take a mighty effort, because the Lions, as I mentioned before the break, or during half-time, I should say, they've got another gear and they'll need to use it and they'll need to step it up. That said, the consistency of the Suns since Stewie Dew has left has been nothing short of fantastic. So they are just as capable. It's going to be down to who can own the corridor, can you take your shots on goals, and let's just see what happens.
They just have to keep their pressure up, the Suns. They keep their pressure up. It's going to take a four-quarter effort to get over the Lions, but if they can keep their pressure up, it's a danger half here for the Lions.
Into the second half we go. Here's Michael Price on Grandstand AFL.
Oscar McInerney versus Jared Witts in the middle. The two tall timbers for the Suns and the Lions. Perfect bounce to start the second half. McInerney gets it into the hands of Lachie Neale immediately. Either side of him, Matt Rowell and Tuke Miller hold him up. Lachie Neale only the 2 disposals in the first term, followed that up with 8 in the second. He's going head-to-head with Tuke Miller in a dynamite battle, and then they go again. The ball lands in Lachie Neale's hands. He's taken into the ground, and who's there? Tuke Miller again.
All in the air. One down here. Humphrey impeded this time by Zorko. Umpire says play on. Miller shares it with Rowell by hand. He's collected by Charlie Cameron, who's around the ball. And it's a ball up again. Left-hand side of the bullseye. Up it goes. One down by Witts to Flanders. On his hammer was Archie. Dispossesses him. Atkins for the Suns. Off here to Powell. Hanging on for dear life was Dunkley. Forces the ball back to ground now. Atkins again collected here by Dunkley. The umpire says, give it to me.
These are messages from both camps. It's been full on at half time. You can see already 4 massive collisions.
Gold Coast by 3. Flanders couldn't get a clean run there. Rowell collects Dunkley and again will board up.
Make that 5.
Bit of a tackle fest going on at the moment. The umpire throws it up. Let's see if we can clear this congestion. Flanders in and under. No, that's not coming out. He's tackled into the ground. The umpire says it's held underneath him and will basically throw it up again. There's 20 players underneath the tea towel here inside the centre square. Tuke Miller bursts free with Lachie Neale hanging onto the edge of his jump, and the umpire says holding the ball. Tuke Miller looking very surprised as Neale accepts the free kick. The handball off to Kadeem Coleman. He gives it off to Starcevic. Measuring a pass through the hands of Danaher. Roved by McLuggage on the left foot under enormous pressure. He sprays it wide out of bounds on the full.
I was going to say, what usually happens after multiple stoppages, the umpire calls a free kick. Exactly what happened.
Kick back in, this time by Powell. Swings it across the goal mouth now. Ballard to Miller, draws the player. Hand pass off to Anderson from left half back. Holman, second bite, pulls it in on the wing. Umpire says play on though. You say it wasn't 15 or touched or something? Either way, it's play on. Holman around the corner here for Miller, who kept running, and now Flanders just forward of left half forward. Suns go back inside 50, a short kick to Rowell. Hand pass off to Holman, who slews off the side of the boot, and it goes out of bounds for a throw in deep in the left forward pocket.
Geez, great work right there from Tuke Miller. From the half-back line, switch to connect the ball going forward.
Everything but the finish that time for the Gold Coast Suns. A little flower bag there from Nick Holman. Stoppage inside 50.
Oh, did not have the finish at all, Spriggy. The throw in, left forward pocket. Tight game. McInerney from the rear position slaps it forward. Miller to Flanders on the fly. It's a floating ball towards the right forward pocket, smashed to the ground by Payne. Front and square was Ellis. He retreats outside defensive 50 to Atkins by hand, and now over to Flanders. From 40, he has a go to the goal line, and it's a lovely mark taken by Kelarchi in defence, who stretched out. It was a 2-on-1 against Casbolt. Brisbane won out, and he flares right to the back pocket to find Harris Andrews.
Need to get more run here, the Lions. They are just, there's three guys stuck on the ball.
No score in this third term so far. 3.5 minutes in. Andrews kick beyond defensive 50 is just thumped out of bounds by Will Powell. A throw in.
Sam Flanders up to 20 disposals now, the leader on the park. 20 disposals and a couple of clearances.
As I say, he's in hot form and he's off contract as well. So
the zeros keep coming.
Yeah, Victorian clubs, I'm sure, will be interested.
Great tap there, but yeah.
Witz goes to the boundary line. It's going to be, out of bounds.
Rowell's free kick.
Yeah, holding on to it. It was a great set play they had.
So Matt Rowell, who leads the comp for tackles, equals second for clearances with Lockie Neal, who leads that category. Up inside 50, spoiled away by Harris Andrews. Dunkley brought to ground by Humphrey. Umpire waiting. Holman gets the hand pass out here. Ainsworth to Flanders, but will come back here for incorrect disposal. It will be a free kick this time going Brisbane's way. This time Nick Holman, the offender.
Yeah, you just see here McCarthy's about to have the kick, but he's been on Rory Atkins, who just is so loose. Very dangerous.
Atkins up to 15 disposals as well in a game-high 322 metres gained as the Lions go straight up the corridor through Zorko. Bouncing ball cut off by Sam Collins. Handball to Mac Andrew, and that is a spiral towards left half forward. Casbolt read it nicely. It let it bounce, but Payne's right on his hammer, so he plays tunnel ball with it. It's cut off by Wilmot for Brisbane. Handball to Jasper Fletcher. Tackled into the ground. He handballs it back to Wilmot. Done a 360 with the tackle of Ainsworth. He got the handball back to Zorko. You can hear by the crowd. The result of that was Zorko skying the ball over the boundary line. It's out of bounds on the full.
It's landed in the little gap between the fence and the crowd. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's only about 6 inches wide, and it's found there. As Jared Witts handballed it back to Tuke Miller. Long one to the top of the square. Ben King at the back. Oh, you've got to pay that. That's a pure pack mark specky from Ben King, playing himself back into form. 15 metres out, slight angle to the left.
Just the timing, he had his name written all over that. Just those big strides, just catapult him up there.
Ben
Poor
King.
Poor defence.
Well, you would have expected a fist there from the Lions' defence, but Ben King comes back in and back into form. That's his fourth goal here at Carrara. The Suns 39, the Brisbane Lions 30. 6-3 plays 4-6, and we played nearly 6 minutes of the third term.
How many weeks was it that he went goalless?
4.
There you go. Making up for it. Making up for it.
1 a week.
But that's set up by that one-on-one defence from the Suns on the half forward flank there. Ability to keep the ball, keep it alive. The balance they had, wasn't rushing 2-1. They had the really good balance that forced their kick to go out in the full, and they got it back in there. Repeat inside forward 50 for the Suns.
That has been their pressure. The pressure has caused the out of bounds on the full, but poor defending there for Lockie now. Got to be a bit smarter than that, Lockie.
Zane Bojack downstairs.
Akka, you reckon that the Lions have got to go up a gear? They're a bit like a 2-cylinder Suzuki rather than a V8 Ferrari.
Oh, yeah. They're not even a V12. But anyway, we'll see what happens because they can go far harder.
Restart back in the middle. Witts, Anderson and Miller. Dumped here by Zorko. Lions trying to soccer it forward here. It's Now Wilmot who gets them forward. Inside 50 they go. Hipwood to Cameron. Sharks it now in the pocket. Snaps on the run. Misses just to the left-hand side. Margin back to 8 points off the back of the Brisbane behind. 7 going third term here at Carrara.
Bit of World Cup there.
Yeah. Not if you see two or three off the ground.
So the Suns are going to bring it back in through Darcy McPherson. He plays on out of the goal square, goes long towards Ellis. Front and square, Swallow got the handball back to Ellis. Now on to Touk Miller. The run's coming from Ainsworth. He receives the handball. Gives it off to Melroses, the speedster. Back to Ellis. The handball missed. Lockneil got it. Back to Zorko. Handball off to Starcevic. Belted as he kicks it into the middle. Oh, good contested ball, Will Powell, but he turned it over. Kadeem Coleman sweeping handball, good. It went to McLuggage. McLuggage tackled as he gets the ball inside 50. Picked up there by Ballard for the Suns. Gets rid of his tackler, and that's a lovely, beautiful weighted pass to find Ellis.
Ellis at right half back, comes inboard now for Miller. Just went the required 15.
He's back in his All-Australian form at the moment tonight, Touk Miller. Outstanding at the moment. Work rate's unbelievable.
3-time Marcus Ashcroft medalist, could make it a 4th. Which would be a new record, beating his own mark as they come here from Lemons to Atkins. Inside defensive 50 here, the Suns. They use the corridor now for Will Powell. Lays off the hand pass. Still running by his Swallow. Goes inside 50 with a raking right boot now. Spoiled away by Andrews. At the drop, Zorko can rebound now for the Lions. Pinpoint pass by foot to Danaher in the centre circle.
So Big Joe right in the middle of Carrara. Not a lot of movement for him. He tries to flare it wide. That's an awful kick. Went off the side of the boot, and it's cut off there by Ellis for the Suns. He comes back inboard. Flanders has the ball. He wants to run on and does. Got the handball off to Atkins. Long one. Here comes King. King flies. Spoiled. Front and square Roses. And it's a beauty from Melroses. That's roving 101. The Gold Coast Suns bringing it at Carrara. 7-3-45 to the Lions, 4-7-31, a game high 14 points, boys.
But that kick from Atkins, it was just weighted favourite side of King. All he had to do was jump for it, but Roses.
Joey's kick, Joey's howler, which just didn't even hit the boot properly, and that's the turnover, and they're going to make you pay, Suns. That's what I love about them now. They do hurt you. If you're going to turn it over at halfway, they will have a shot on goal.
But just... King going for those marks. He took Andrews and Payne with him. And there was no one to drop the ball but Roses. So the beautiful kick from Atkins to get inside forward 50.
Gold Coast by 14. 10 going third term. Bounce of the ball. McInerney tries to lay it down here to Neal and McCluggage, and now it goes to the outer wing where Miller and Zorko meet front on. And all of a sudden, a bit of feeling out there as well. A couple of Suns got to drag Zorko off their co-captain.
Sorry, Zorko with some lip there, Spiggy.
Back edge of the square. Down to Flanders, the Suns with a chain of hand pass now as Gunston comes across. Good cover defence, rugby style. The tackle on Powell. Suns bring it away though somehow. Miller kicks to right half forward. Ellis is 60 from goal. Has options presenting inside the arc. Ellis calls them to him. High ball to the hot spot now. Wants to find Ben King. Strong overhead grab. Put the jukes up. Pulled it down. Lining up here for goal number 5.
That's how you come back into form. But well weighted from Ellis. He just put it... Once again, the Suns are putting it to the favourite side of their forwards. They're not sitting on their head. They're putting it... Hey, exactly what you said before there, Akka. Kick it to where you want them to receive it.
Absolutely. This will be a soda.
And this makes things very, very interesting. King on the approach. He's got one for the thumb. And the Gold Coast Suns have seized control of this local derby. They're out to a 20-point break on the Lions. 8-3-51 to 4-7-31. The third term belongs to them as they chase their first Q Clash win for 5 years.
I tell you, I don't know how the umpires, if you'd be aggrieved that you're a Brisbane supporter, Zane Zorko got hit high, nothing. Comes out here, that wasn't even high, the free kick that ended up going to the Suns player as, I think it was...
Will Power.
Yeah, Will Power. That wasn't a free kick. So getting the rub of the green always helps, but making them pay the Suns and the Lions have some work to do.
But you can see with the enthusiasm of the Suns to try and own the corridor. that was something we spoke about before the game. So that's what's been their one wood. They haven't been able to do that this year because of the opposition. It hasn't allowed them to do it, and that's exactly what they're doing right now.
Tuke Miller up to 21 disposals with 5 clearances and 5 tackles, if you don't mind, putting his foot down, so to speak. And, boy, didn't he drill Dane Zorko in that last passage of play. The umpire's going to have to recall that. Bouncing and does so. Throws it up. Witts got it down. Sharked by the Lions. McCluggage to Dunkley. Oh, great defensive mark. Sam Collins, but it's a free kick off the ball.
Free kick to
Link McCarthy's been taken out. And Sam Collins with a very courageous backing into the pack type of mark. Well, wasn't paid it. It's going to go to Link McCarthy. Dead set 30 metres out directly in front.
As the ball went in the air, Link tried to cut it back around McPherson. He ended up holding on to him. Did the right thing, but the umpire saw it.
Link McCarthy on the verge of a milestone. He's kicked 149 AFL goals. Make it 150 for Link. And the Lions get a very valuable goal in the context of this game. 8-3-51, plays 5-7-37. The Suns lead by 14 points with 13 gone to the third term. Grandstand AFL.
You always need a lift out of the midfield, don't you, when you feel like you're up against it. The side's got a momentum in their way, and Lachie Neale, straight, great hands to Dunkley, inside forward 50. So that's where they're going to drive. That's where they get back in this game. They're going to drive it from there.
Well, I was just saying that 13 free kicks to 7 in the Suns' favour, so the Lions fan might feel a little bit better about that one. At least they saw it. Good work, but didn't the Lions need that one? Boy, oh boy.
Margin back to 14 points. Midway through the third term here at Carrara. From the restart, it's Casbolt on the right versus McInerney. It's one down here for Miller. Neale for company, sockered forward by Dunkley for the Brisbane Lions. Race on foot here, Andrew and Archie. Archie does well, gets the bigger body out of the way. Lions though with numbers. And pass comes to find McCarthy. One away here by Powell, and now on the line by McPherson. It's a neutral ball on the wing now. Big bump that time from Swallow on McKenna. And Connor McKenna's still going in back play as the ball ricochets forward of halfway now. Dunkley was held by Humphrey, and now it comes back to Humphrey in the contest with McCarthy. They pile in from all angles, and the umpire will ball up 75 out from the Brisbane Lions attacking goal.
You can see already the Lions have lifted their defence now, has stepped up a bit. They need it.
Absolutely, they need to. The Suns are bringing it at Carrara as McInerney gets it back towards the boundary line, taken by Ellis, immediately claimed by Dunkley. Umpire's going to have to throw it up just short of left half forward for Brisbane. They're pressing, but Gold Coast stoic so far. Humphrey got the handball off to Matt Rowell, under pressure to the wing. Wilmot almost took the mark, got the ball back to Payne. The big fella stands there, delivers a 50-metre kick towards Hipwood, spoiled by Andrew. Neale was front and square. He lost the ball. Ellis got it, kicked it towards the wing. Jack Payne tracks it back, but well spoiled there by David Swallow. Took it over the boundary line. On the Nerang River wing, we'll get a throw in with the Suns leading by 14 points at Carrara.
I know what they're going to do here with the subs. Are they going to bring any on? I mean, it's halfway through the third. There's no injuries, so it'll be interesting to see what the coaches do.
Still no movement. Joe Farah and James Tunstall, respective subs for these sides. Back in it comes. Rowell, Flanders, Atkins, off to Powell. Awkward hand pass. Half-volley pick-up does so now. Back to Matt Rowell bursting by. Slips the tackle in McCluggage. Sends the Suns forward of halfway. Up inside 50. Strong intercept grab this time fighting across. It was nice work from Ryan Lester.
Was that Lester?
Lester, who also takes intercept mark on the half volley again. Gets it back to Lester from Lohman, and now some run to the middle of Carrara. Couple of bounces here. McKenna, who looks okay now, has some space down the corridor, goes looking at full forward. Outnumbered down there is McCarthy, and it's lost into the behind post for a throw-in. So a stoppage inside 50 for the Brisbane Lions. It's the Suns who lead by 14. Zane Bojack downstairs.
Yeah, just as Acca was saying that, James Tunstall started warming up down on the boundary line. I don't think it's going to be too long before he comes on.
A little bit of pace, James Tunstall.
He's a big dude too.
The boy from Western Australia. Throw in, right forward pocket for Brisbane. McInerney take it out of the ruck and then immediately tackled there by McPherson. It's towed off the deck. Nicely read there at the back by Will Powell. He's just standing behind the behind line at the moment with Link McCarthy standing the mark, so he's going to come long towards half-back. Starcevic did well to bring the ball to ground. Ainsworth in there, and it's going to be stuck there. The umpire will ball it up 55 out.
He's a good player, Starcevic. He gets a run at it. Super grab.
Doesn't have to get a lot of the ball to be effective.
The stoppage. Deanna Hollands, big bump from Dunkley, dispossesses him. Recovered though here for the Lions and Berry. Holman puts a tackle down there to again get possession back in the Suns' favour. Miller turns his kick up the wing as Swallow dives, takes a mark. Dummies the hand pass to Holman, who is still running, but Swallow controls it in the logo now. Comes back to the boundary line for Lukosius. Just forward of halfway. Umpire calls play on. The young South Australian goes high inside 50. King running start. Can't pull it down now. At the back, Roses. Puts the tackle on Fletcher. Gets it away though here. The Lions can rebound beyond defensive 50. Lohman a clean pick-up. Gets it away here and it's tumbled back up the line by Dunkley. Only his father was Collins, who marks on the wing for the Suns.
Sam Collins in his 100th. Wheels around. Kicks it inside 50. King spoiled. Front and square was Andrews for Brisbane. The sweeping handball to Dunkley, and that's a beautiful pass. A sizzler found Danaher, who has to slow it down just short of centre wing, commentary side. The Suns, again, they've been doing this all night, set up beautifully in defence, and Danaher has to go long down the line. That was a choice in two between Andrews, McAndrew and Witts, and they spoiled each other, but it's going to be a free kick to the Suns anyway. It'll go to McAndrew for Jared Witts spoiling him, I think. I'm not quite sure.
Pretty sure it was. It was friendly fire. The umpire might have got mistaken.
McAndrew from left half back here for the Suns. A high searching kick up the members' side, floating across. Again, Leicester takes the mark at right half back for the Brisbane Lions.
This is the problem. They've got four behind the ball, Brisbane. They don't need four behind the ball.
Back to Darcy Wilmot, still a teenager, 19 years of age. Debuted in the finals last year. Wilmot comes beyond defensive, 50 back for Jack Payne. Mentioned he's not on a new deal yet, but it's not too far away. The Noosa lad high again up the member's side, and again it's McAndrew drops back, takes the mark for the Gold Coast Suns.
He's been good tonight.
Short kick to find Elijah Hollands. Gold Coast again with a flurry of jumpers going forward. Lemons, one of them, he marks on his chest and goes wide to the wing now for McPherson. From the outer logo, propels them forward for Ainsworth. Second bite beats Starcevic, brings it to ground now. 45 from goal, along to the hot spot now. King goes up, he was beaten in front by Payne. Swallow dispossessed by Dunkley. It's a clatter of bodies down there. A bump laid down there from Humphrey on Andrews. Again, the ball will not come free, so the umpire will ball up 20 out from that attacking area for the Gold Coast Suns, who lead by 14 points here as we approach time on in the third term.
Sorry, Spriggy. Geez, it's just King going for his marks. Just brings in those small forwards.
He's having a crack in the ruck. Witts gets it down. Here he is, Humphrey. Handball backwards to Elijah Hollands. Tackled by Lohman. Ball held to him. Umpire will ball it up 20 out.
And he got separation. He got separation,
and the backs for Brisbane just not checking him.
Umpire throws it up. Well done, Witts, down to Rowell. Rowell got the handball out to Anderson. Anderson from 25 curls it around the body. It's back to a 20-point margin. The Suns get their ninth.
Set play.
9-3, 57 to 5-7, 37. 20 gone third term grandstand AFL. Michael Price with Brett Sprigg and your experts, Jeff White and Jason Ackermanis.
We'll just go down to the boundary. Big fella.
Yeah, look, can I just say this to you guys? Isn't round 20 turning into a tipster's nightmare? Lockie Neal coming back on along with Kitty Coleman and, of course, Tuke Miller not far behind. I think having Neal just almost eliminated from this contest has really stopped Brisbane from having any flow whatsoever in their midfield. And at the Gold Coast, they're just benefiting from having a big target up forward and Crummers being able to back up off the back of it.
What's his name?
Oh, sorry, Bojack.
Yeah. Good on you, Bojack. So all the away teams have won so far. And it could well happen. I mean, if the Lions come back at least, but the Suns are in control of things here.
Sorry, Zane. I'll get it right, big fella.
Gold Coast by 20 points here. 21 going third term off the Noah Anderson goal. Towed forward by down here in the middle, doing the ruck work. Gunston off the deck to Berry, pushed off the kick by Rowell. The Suns win it back now. Wobbly kick towards half forward. Humphrey off his chest, it bounces down here to Ainsworth. Lays off the hand pass for Anderson. Tracks it back now, spins clear. 45 out across to the pocket for Casbolt.
That last two contests, Matt Rowell, unbelievable. That one inside forward 50, he gave it off to Noah Anderson for a goal, and then that stop play in that centre bounce was just outstanding.
Crazy.
Levi Casbolt.
What was he doing in the forward line the whole first quarter?
Their former blue. Slight angle in the right forward pocket. No more than 30 out to extend the Gold Coast Suns lead. He does just that to the tune of 26 points. The Brisbane Lions are on the ropes. The Suns can sense a win coming.
They've just overpowered them today, the Suns.
22 gone, third term. Gold Coast 10-3-63, Brisbane 5-7-37.
The biggest difference too has been when it's been an undisputed ball, it's there to be won. The contested ball has gone the Suns' way because they've got more numbers to the play.
Yeah.
When Brisbane get it, they haven't got enough numbers to use their hands, which are really good at, so it's forced them to kick it into a one-on-one contest, which the Suns are winning. So just that sheer pressure around the ball has allowed them to get numbers, allowed them to use the ball like they did then, and then get it inside their forward 50.
What a round of footy it is. Boy, oh boy, you could pick this one. But anyway, Lions, plenty of work to do.
Suns by 31 with regards to disposals, and they're now leading in this quarter by 500 metres gained. So they're actually dominating the third term so far. Lions with a clearance now. Dunkley, he's going to measure it inside 50. Suns got it covered though. Chipped forward there by Collins. It's misdirected. Cut off on the outer side here by Brisbane against the boundary line. It's with Gunston. Back inside 50. Off the head of McAndrew. Well roved there by Will Powell. Through hands now. Anderson. Took Miller. Great half volley to Rowell. Rowell on the left foot. Kicks it towards the wing. Casbolt. Valiant effort to get there. And then the second effort to get it away from Payne. It's loose. Payne gathers. Casbolt gathered him. Now Payne goes back to ground. An inadvertent kick to the head. It's serious. He's laying there, but he's okay. The ball spills forward. Ainsworth, tackled by Wilmot, holding the ball. It's a free kick to Brisbane at right half back. This game's gone up a notch.
Wilmot, short kick across half back for Ryan Lester. Seeing a replay of that contact to the head that Jack Payne copped.
Accidental.
The boots of, was it Ainsworth? Ainsworth for the Suns. Here's Jack Payne, big lad. Short kick though to Kadeen Coleman, just making their way forward. Brisbane Lions patiently. They're down though by nearly 5 goals. 26 points as the Suns lead. Up in front as the Gold Coast defence. Collins comes down here though for Rayner. On like a backpack was Nick Holman. Brings him to ground. The umpire says ball up, 40 out. From the Brisbane Lions attacking goal. Something in the Carrara. It's the Suns who lead by 26, 25 gone here in the third term. Stoppage, up it goes. Through traffic, Anderson. Off to Holman now, off half back. All over him was Loman. Hand pass goes straight to Lockie Neal. Advantage paid here for the Brisbane Lions. Inside 50 they go. Charlie Cameron had another shot from Lemons. And that will be a free kick to the Brisbane Lions.
They've done that a few times tonight, haven't they? Just got Charlie to go back as a one-on-one.
Yeah, he is giving away. That's his second free kick he's given away today there, Lemmings. But the Lions have got a lot of shots on goal because of free kicks, so they're not quite getting this beautiful delivery, taking marks, going back, kicking goals. That's it. Charlie needs to kick it.
He certainly does. Already has one so far tonight, Charlie Cameron. It's a long country road back from here. But Charlie Cameron has 2. And the Brisbane fight back begins as we approach three-quarter time. Margin back to 20. 26 gone, third term, Grandstand AFL. Jason Ackermanis and Jeff White.
Look at the replay here. Again, like we're not seeing Lockie Neal. When he does get the ball, he's so creative. That was Lockie Neal just getting sort of off the free kick, play on to advantage. Actually a really good kick to Charlie, albeit with Lemmings holding him and infringing. But that said, the importance of Lockie Neal getting the 26, 27 touches he does most weeks and being creative. You're so right, Jeff White. When he's down, there's no one else lifting up, taking his spot.
But I think, and you know what it's like, sometimes those free, you're going to be a bit of a target. You're not going to get those possessions that you normally get. So it's those 1%ers that you've got to work on. And that's what he did right then, was creating the turnover, delivering it, and just focusing on the basics.
Gold Coast by 20 here at Carrara. The clearance comes through Swallow, through the hands of Flanders, through Atkins. He turned it over though. McCluggage enters the fray, gathers. He got the handball out to the wide spaces of Jasper Fletcher. Couldn't quite pick it up under pressure. Elijah Hollands over the top of him, holds him up. The umpire will come in and ball it up just forward of centre wing on the outer side.
If you look at that play there, it's 2 on, 3 on 2, 2 on 1, you know?
Always, yeah.
Outnumbered by the Suns.
Witts versus McInerney. It bounces freely, gathered by McCluggage. Tackled by Witts. He let loose the ball. Now the Suns through Will Powell. Has a bounce. Goes beyond centre wing out aside to Lukosius.
Have a shot.
He should deliver it beautifully. He measures a pass, and have a look at that to Casbolt. Oh, good defence from Kalachi.
Oh, Kalachi,
He
yes.
went back into the path of Casbolt, who is a runaway train, and took a beautiful defensive mark.
He would, if he didn't know Casbolt was coming,
he would have heard it.
He would have been.
A lot of courage from Calamachi, although perhaps, as you say, unknowingly. It comes to left half back. Chain of kicks. Andrews comes wide to find Lester. Uncontested grab on the outer side. Long kick here towards left half forward. Up in front, Danaher. At the back, Dunkley for the Brisbane Lions. Hand pass swept well by McInerney. Here's Dunkley again. Danaher back in the pocket. Keeps it alive here with a socket award goal. It's across the face and skids through for a minor score. The Lions finding opportunities late in this third term. Margin 19 points the Gold Coast Suns way. 10-3-63. Plays 6-8-44. 28 go on third quarter here.
There's only 2 and a bit minutes to go. If they score here, Brisbane, they're just hanging in there.
So the Suns move on now from Powell. Goes out to outer wing. Dunkley off hands, gathers handball back to Lester. Off a step to Danaher, spoiled by Collins and then thrown to the ground anyway. Ball spills towards the boundary line. Ballard can't pick it up. It's off his toes. Charlie Cameron wants out of bounds on the full. Not going to happen.
He'd make you nervous, Pricey. Charlie Cameron coming.
Mate, you'd hear his footsteps too. They'd be like a lot softer than Levi Casbolt,
yes.
But they'd be faster too. Tap, tap, tap it behind you. The throw across the arc of 50. McInerney gets in front of Witts, got it down. Powell now in front of Zorko. Great tackle, Zorko holding the ball. That's forward pressure. He's 45 out with his left leg, a metre from the left boundary line. He wants to measure a pass. He kicks it to the square. It's a 3-on-1. McInerney versus 3 defenders. Hopelessly outnumbered, fisted away by Collins over the boundary line. Throw in, left forward pocket.
Should have had a shot then, Zorko.
Yeah, but good awareness from the Suns then, because it was a quick. He got in there quick.
Again, 3-on-1.
Yep.
Approaching three-quarter time here. Stoppage inside 50 for the Brisbane Lions. In the back, Witts kept alive by Dunkley, brought to ground by Ellis. Swallow was dispossessed as well. Good tackle it was. In the pocket, it's one away here by Rain. It's swallowed by Swallow. Ricochet's back here for Dunkley, who snaps, and again he misses. Another minor score. 6-9-45 the Lions. Gold Coast 10-3-63. Half an hour played, third term.
Tons to bring it back in now. Carefully measured pass from Powell goes into the pocket to find Collins. Long kick in the McAndrew direction. Buffeted off the ball by Coleman at the back of the pack. Anderson towed it forward, running freely towards it, Kalachi. He's chased there by Ainsworth, who affected the kick, and it landed just short of Ellis. Now they've got a chance, the Suns. The handball from Anderson too strong for Ainsworth. He put it down. The ball spills through Archie, who was belted and gets a free kick. Advantage paid. The Lions through hands. McCluggage into the path of Cameron. What a pass. The lead was brilliant, but the pass, that was exceptional by McCluggage, and Charlie Cameron's going to have a ping from 45 out, slight angle to the left.
Good awareness there for the Lions to play on when they knew it was a free kick.
Yeah, they just got a couple of them, and they played advantage, and they've done well, the Lions. But that's a good kick, and Charlie, well, he had no room. Lemmings, he's got some wheels. He was right there.
So Charlie Cameron from 40. Pulls it to the left. One behind results. 63 plays 46. It's a 17-point margin in favour of the Suns. We played 31 minutes of the third term here at Carrara.
You just want those ones, don't you, before three-quarter time, just to swing the momentum back your way.
Margin was at one stage 26 points the Gold Coast Suns way. Down to 17 now in these dying seconds of the third quarter. Atkins, long kick out beyond defensive 50. At the drop here again, Hollins works his way through a pack, kicks out in space on the bounce, and the clock will just beat them. The siren for three-quarter time, which was, as I say, a term controlled by the home side here at Carrara. It's Gold Coast 10-3-63, Brisbane 6-10-46, the scoreline here in Q-Clash 25. Goal kickers so far, Ben King has 5. It's all singles beyond there. Anderson, Casbolt, Ellis, Roses and McPherson for the Suns, while for the Brisbane Lions, 2 goals, 2 for Charlie Cameron, 1-3 for Hipwood. Singles also to McCluggage, Zorko and McCarthy. We'll preview Essendon Sydney up next. Adelaide and Port still to come as well. We'll be listening across ABC Radio, News Radio, and of course via the ABC Listen app. This is Grandstand AFL.
What's the best thing in the world that's also on the ABC Listen app? The footy! This season, get your footy live and ad-free on the ABC Listen app.
Straight through for a goal.
AFL, NRL, men's, women's. Whatever you fix, we've got you covered.
She's got it. Bye-bye. See you later.
Every goal, try, mark and tackle. Called by ABC Sports' expert commentary team.
Set. Bingo.
AFL and NRL, live and ad-free. Get it on the ABC Listen app.
Grandstand AFL.
Now streaming every match on the ABC Listen app.
Look for the AFL button.
Ellis for the Suns. He comes back in board. Flanders has the ball. He wants to run on and does, but the handball off to Atkins. Long one. Here comes King. King flies. Spoiled front square Roses. And it's a beauty from Mel Roses. That's roving 101.
Ellis is 60 from goal. Has options presenting inside the yard. Ellis calls them to him. High ball to the hot spot now. Wants to find Ben King. Strong overhead grab. Put the jukes up. Pulled it down. Lining up here for goal number 5. King on the approach. He's got one for the thumb. And the Gold Coast Suns have seized control of this local derby.
Well done, Wits down to Rowell. Rowell got the handball out to Anderson. Anderson from 25. Curls it around the body. It's back to a 20-point margin. The Suns get their 9.
The 2023 AFL season.
On radio,
ABC Sport Digital.
and now streaming on the ABC Listen app.
3/4 time at Carrara. Gold Coast leads Brisbane by 17. If you're listening through South Australia, WA or the NT. Up next, you're off to Adelaide Oval for Showdown 54, the Crows and the Power. But there's also a massive game happening at Docklands. 2 teams sitting just outside the 8, Essendon and Sydney. And to tell us all about it, Corbin Middlemass will call the action there for us. Corbin.
Thanks, Spriggy. Yeah, the Bombers closer to the top 8 as it sits at the moment, and yet it's Sydney who carry in the better form line. They've won a couple on the bounce, while the Bombers, the complete inverse, having lost their last 2. They also lose one of their premier defenders, Jordan Ridley, and Jake Stringer, who clearly wasn't fit last week, is out of the team. There's no real late change. Basically, they've thrown the subs vest or the warm-up top to Will Snelling, who was originally part of the 22. And as a result, Elwyn Davey Jr. is actually going to start as part of the 22 for the Bombers. So Memsey and Davey in for the side that lost to the Bulldogs last week. While for Sydney, Ryan Clark's the sub again, which means it's the exact same 23 that were able to prevail last week for the Swans in their win over Fremantle. Rare back-to-back away games for the Swans. So over in Perth last week, coming back to the Docklands tonight. And Lance Franklin playing against the team in which he's filled his boots most against across the journey, averaging 4 goals a game against the Bombers. Essendon, I like this as a little touch, Spriggy. They had a call out to their members this week as a Bring a Buddy game with a capital B. So basically, if you're a member, you can bring a friend along, which I thought was a nice touch. And I think they're hoping, though, that Buddy doesn't have one of those nights. Let's see what we get this evening. Under the roof at Docklands, Essendon and Sydney. Next stop, Grandstand AFL.
Thanks, Corbin. So that's coming up in Victoria and Tasmania. You'll get the showdown everywhere else in Adelaide. You'll find coverage of either game, of course, via the ABC Listen app, via either the ABC AFL or AFL Extra button. There's also the cricket, day 3 at the Oval. Look for that on the cricket button, the icon on the app, plus the Venezuela Cup at the MCG. All of these v All Blacks, also beginning at 7:30 Eastern, so Quentin Hull will call that. There'll be a stream of that available. It's on the ABC Brisbane button, as well as analogue coverage through ABC Radio Brisbane and ABC Sport Digital in Canberra. Whew, I think that's everything. In the meantime, Q Clash 25. The Suns lead here by 17 points at the final change. Your experts are Jeff White and Jason Ackermanis.
Well, it's interesting. Late in that quarter, Whitey, the Lions, who were down and out for a bit there, they just picked up their pressure, picked up their intensity. They got 3 or 4 shots on goal late. Unlucky not to score a couple of goals. They have been inaccurate tonight. But if they bring that for the last quarter, the Suns are going to be in trouble. The other thing to mention is Lukosius hasn't kicked a goal and Joey Danaher haven't kicked a goal.
Yep.
There's 2 guys right there who've been kicking bags in the last few weeks. Obviously, Kingy stepped up, but they just need a little bit more. If they can get goals from those 2 guys, the last quarter, if Joey gets on fire and kicks it, it's going to be a tight game.
Yeah,
for me personally, I think it comes down just to that midfield pressure. Pressure across the ground, which the Suns have been elite. They put it on the TV just before. Their pressure has been in the elite area, and it has tonight. It's been outstanding. They've been 2, 3 on 1 at most contests, but I reckon it's going to come out of that midfield.
Yeah.
It's going to be a big drive. If Brisbane are to match it with the Suns' intensity, it has to start at these, not only the centre bounces, but at clearances around the ground, because you saw in that quarter there, the Suns got goals out of the centre, and they also got goals from their forward stoppages.
They did. As we hear a little bit of Queen. You want it all, and they want it now. They'll need it now, I tell you, the Suns.
A few more numbers, Pricey.
Well, Rory Atkins got 25 disposals for the Suns. Flanders with 24. Will Powell with 23. Dunkley leads for Brisbane with 24. Coleman with 20.
Brisbane had 3 straight behinds to finish that third quarter. How does the final term begin? Wits out of the ruck, beats Mack, and it's Humphrey who runs around here from the stoppage. High ball inside 50 here for Gold Coast. Casbolt out to meet the football. A big spoil from behind, though, from Jack Payne. Hollins held Jasper Fletcher. Umpire says play on. Now forward of halfway. McPherson from the wing, a little too deep for Casbolt. Picked off from behind by Payne. A great mark. Intercepting it right half back.
So the big boy from Noosa goes long down the outer wing. Lands it on the logo. Dunkley with a good 2-on-1 contest. Brought the ball to ground. At the back, McPherson could have been pushed in the back by McCarthy. Let loose the ball to Witts. Then on to Elijah Hollins. He tries to sizzle a pass, and it didn't make its way to its intended target in Powell. Cut off by Lockie Neal. Quieter by his standards and going head-to-head with Touk Miller. So he's only managed the 16 disposals, but it's a long kick towards right half forward. Danaher could have taken it spoiled. Rove by Hollins for the Suns. Kicks it back to whence it came. Flanders couldn't compete with the man from Starcevic who got the ball. Kicked it forward. Now Humphrey gathered, and he flares it out left to find Flanders with his 26th disposal.
Flanders, it's a hand pass off to Miller. Miller can kick inside 50 now. King leads up, but it was a little too shallow, that kick. It was trouble down there for the defender who caught one in the back, and that will be a free kick going the way of the Brisbane Lions. And Wilmot.
It's a good message from King, though. Don't come and stand in my space. Good message. I like it. I like when you're when you're down on confidence. That's what you got to do.
Wilmot will use the wing. High ball out there. Spoil coming from the back. Collins on McInerney. It's out of bounds for a throw-in. Off the SNS, Bradley from Castlemaine asks, why isn't this game called a barbecue, as in rhymes with barbecue? I think part of the reason is because Queenslanders can't agree on what to call a derby or a derby. I'm told it's sometimes in the city it's derby and country is derby, or vice versa. It's weird. Here they go, the Suns from the stoppage. Off to Hollins. Island's big sticks from 52. Kick a little shallow and out of bounds on the full, in fact. Missing left-hand side of the behind post. So no change to our three-quarter time score. The Gold Coast Suns by 17.
Barbecue, that'll do me. That is fantastic work. It's a long kick towards half forward. Jared Witts at the back. A strong one grabber. He plays on the big man, kicks it in the Casbolt direction. Oh boy, he was outmanned there, Darcy Wilmot, but he actually managed to take the ball over the boundary line against the much bigger Casbolt. It's going to be a throw-in the left forward pocket. Crowd buzzing here at Carrara because the home side leading by 17 points. They haven't won a Q clash for 5.5 years. It thrown in. Witts gets it down to Rosas, immediately claimed, and will ball it up 20 metres out.
Zane Bojack downstairs.
I'm always disappointed that they didn't go the Pineapple Cup. I think they missed an opportunity there.
Pineapple grapple.
Banana Cup.
Up it goes here. Rowell away from the stoppage. Bursts clear. Shows good pace around the corner and Shire's on goal. Oh, the Suns love that. A goal on the run from Matt Rowell. And they're back out to 23. 11-3, 69 plays 6-10-46. A settler in this final term for the Gold Coast Suns.
What I've been really impressed with tonight, Akka, is their ground balls.
Oh yeah,
they have been super clean. It's one area to have work rate and have numbers at the ball. Secondly, it's about winning it, being clean, and then being able to use the ball. And that was an outstanding piece of work there from Rao on the half volley. To break the lines and then to finish the way he did was unbelievable.
It's funny, you come out from half-time, Suns are doing ground balls, Brisbane are doing leg swings, a little bit of kick and catch.
Yeah.
It shows you've got to do stuff that you want to see out there. Smart coaching there from the Suns.
Matt Rowell, only the 15 disposals. 11 of those are contested. 7 clearances and 9 tackles with that goal. It's a well-rounded performance in the middle, and Brisbane with a chance, but it's pinched by Humphrey now.
And there's
free
Rowell
kick.
again. That was his brilliant tackle, but obviously upset. But that's him again, just going at it.
So it was not an effective tackle. He gave away the free kick, but everybody was running towards the Suns' end there. It's going to come back. Josh Dunkley will be the recipient in the middle of the ground, and he's going to play on. He's going to wheel around onto the right foot immediately. He finds Jasper Fletcher, still in the centre square and adjacent to the centre circles. Not a lot of movement in front, so he's going to go long. Top of the square, Danaher is the target. Over the top of him at the back, Atkins, and the pace of McCarthy got there first, but he couldn't control it. Over the boundary line for a throw in.
Well, Brisbane were trying to do a set-up, and they were getting a lot of space, but unfortunately the kick wasn't quite where Joey would want it. But he's having a tough time tonight with Collins, who's been pretty aggressive on him.
Only kicked the 6 goals so far as well. 6 goals, 10 the Brisbane Lions. Back in it comes. Down from Witts. And he tries again here. A big man for Brisbane. McPherson's kick smothered. Waiting for a clearance again. Overrun by Berry. Holman on out of the boundary line here. Or over it, in fact, by Charlie Cameron. So we'll throw it back in. 65 around from the Lions goal. Scoreboard end.
It'll work for the Lions. Their pressure has lifted, and it will pay. They'll eventually get the turnovers and get the free ball.
Gold Coast Suns by 23 here. Back in it comes. Laid down for Rowell. Couldn't keep it though. Dunkley picks his pocket. Hand pass off here. Wilmot back to Zorko. The veterans kick is chopped off by the Gold Coast Suns. And it's marked by Powell just inside defensive 50 here.
So Will Powell. Oh, and that's an aggressive kick. He's looking. Oh, he found Ballard, but he had 2 opponents closing in on him. Ballard wheels around onto the right. That's an aggressive kick in forward centre wing. Found Roses, got the handball off to Lukosius. Lukosius inside 50. Here's a chance at the back. Ainsworth. Ball spills. Suns with a chance. It comes out. Ainsworth off the deck. World Cup style. And there's another goal for the Suns. Oh, yes. Here come the Suns at Carrara. 11-3-69. Play 6-10-46. The immediate reply back to 23 points. Dane Bojack's on the boundary.
Oh, down the boundary.
Yeah, look, we've got substitutions happening everywhere. The Suns are going to activate Jai Farah, and it's going to be Hollands coming off for them. And I can tell you that Tunstall has been activated for the Lions. I still don't know who he's going to replace. Possibly it could be Jasper Fletcher. Yes, he's going to the back bench.
Yeah, Jasper's off.
There is a score review.
So it was 23 already, so it could be up to 5 goals here.
Absolutely. Well,
they're trying to see whether Harris Andrews touched it, but it's definitely clearance.
So Ainsworth has basically kicked it off the deck, and they're seeing it whether it skimmed the shin of Harris Andrews first.
It looks pretty close. I don't know what was the umpire's call.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to understand.
The soft call we haven't heard.
Oh, that looks like a
simultaneous.
Yeah, well, the players have all gone down like it's going to be kicked in.
Passes the Brisbane defender's boot.
That's the point.
They're calling it a point. It's deviated when it got past Harris Andrews' boot, so it's going to be a 24-point margin, 70-46.
Is that the turnaround that the Lions needed? Because, geez, that slingshot footy though from the Suns was that's Suns footy.
So Elijah Hollands is the man subbed off.
McKenna has a bounce from the kick out here toward the outer side. Dunkley dropped the mark he should have taken. Pressure from Ellis though. And now tumbling his way through a tackle out there as Tunstall dispossessed. Not a great start for him.
Welcome to the game, really.
So Ainsworth, the tackler, rewarded. High inside 50 he goes here for the Suns. Out the boot of Starcevic. Cleared away by Zorko for Brisbane. Again, high towards that outer wing. Parking himself under it down there, Gunston. Overrun down there by McPherson. Getting it back here is Hipwood. Just thumps it clear. High inside 50 he goes. Back with the flight. Lemons has Cameron to beat. Lemons brings it to ground now. Cameron goes with him. Charlie's hovering now. Lays the tackle on the ball carrier. Lemons, and the umpire will ball up.
Right,
40 out from Brisbane's attacking goal. 24 points is the Gold Coast lead.
Oh, what a contest.
That is a great contest. The 223s, Sean Lemons, late inclusion, and Charlie Cameron. Ball thrown up, offhand. Sam Collins curls it outside defensive 50. It bounces towards the wing. Starcevic versus Lukosius. Lukosius off the deck. A 40-metre ground kick that bounces in front of Casbolt. Could have copped a free kick and did, in fact, from Payne for the push in the back. Plays on through hands. Miller delivers a pass to Ainsworth, who accepts it on the 50. Humphrey kept running. Ainsworth found him. 40 out, 45 degrees to the right. And the young man can put some more pain in the Brisbane Lions camp.
This is what the Suns, I don't want to state the obvious here, but they've had pressure in contests. What they've lacked is that forward run, that risk running, run forward risk, and that's what they're getting tonight.
So Bailey Humphrey, the boy taken at number 6 in the 2022 draft, leans back and he's pushed it right. One behind. 71 plays 46. It's a 25-point margin. 10 gone on the final turn here at Grandstand AFL.
Dean Coleman kicks out here. Comes back to the members' side. A little slip there from Andrews. Allows Humphrey to make ground now. Loose ball in the wing. Archie bursts through the Humphrey tackle. Back to Zorko. Back to Andrews. Propels them forward. No. Finds the chest of Mac Andrew. Intercept again here for the Suns. Back in possession on the wing commentary side.
He's been their best player today.
11 gone, final term. Gold Coast by 25 here.
Good luck with the voting.
High inside 50. It's always a tough thing in a close game as well. Archie, although the Gold Coast run over it here as it's cleared towards the line here. It's another out of bounds. It's deliberate from Berry. So Gold Coast back in possession, not far away from you, Zane Bojack.
Yeah, where the big O has limped off and looks like he's got a bit of an ankle problem. Might be an opportunity for Wits to exploit in this back end of this game.
So Jasper Fletcher off. Tunstall on for Brisbane. Elijah Hollands off. And Jai Farah in for the Gold Coast. So both subs activated. The ball is at right half forward. The Suns are leading by 25 points. Wits gets it down. Flanders to Ainsworth. The hands to Rosas. The speedster. What a pass! What a pass! He has hit Casbolt on the chest. 35 out, more or less directly in front.
That's that synergy. We spoke about it earlier with McCluggage knowing left footer, coming inside forward 50. Just beautiful awareness there from McCluggage, from Casbolt, knowing Rosas being a left footer.
Wow, what about the kick though? That had no room for error. They both were running at full pelt. Brilliant kick. Can Casbolt just put a little nail in the coffin of Brisbane?
Big Levi Casbolt from 40. He's given it a ride. The Suns love it. Casbolt kicks his second. The Suns extend. It is a 31-point lead over Big Brother here at Carrara. 12-5-77. Plays 6-10. 46 in front of 14,097 fans here at Carrara.
With the story of the night, really. The Suns have been harder at the ball, harder at the man, better tackling. They've worked harder, and they're just their ability below their knees that you spoke about, Jeff White, so much cleaner than the Lions.
Well,
they've just had nothing.
That passage there, beautiful soft tap there from Wits, but it was Flanders who got the ball. Nice hands to Ainsworth, who then got it out to Roses.
Oh, this is going to happen, isn't it? This is going to happen for the Gold Coast Suns. 31 points, they're out by now, a game-high lead to break Brisbane's run of 9 straight Q Clash victories. Down it comes, Rowell pinned by Berry. The umpire ball up again.
Yeah, their pressure all night has been just top class.
I'll probably ask you for the votes now, Whitey. That's always the pain with these things. It's always midway through the last quarter, and there's still a bit of the game to go. Rowell through traffic, hand pass off here. Flanders kicked into the back. In fact, it was the head of Kadeen Coleman. Just ricochets a big falcon from Kitty Coleman, who's down in back play. Down to the wing now. McCluggage for the Lions, back to Berry. Paul Coleman still down, by the way. Got it flush on the temple, I think, for that kick from Flanders. Meanwhile, it comes to Danaher, 65 from goal here for the Brisbane Lions. Pops it down the corridor now. Oh, it's socked forward by McCarthy after it was spilled by Powell, and now it's out of bounds for a throw-in in the right forward pocket. Scoreboard or northern end. Zane Bojack, down to you on the boundary.
I think it's a poke of the eye for Kitty Coleman. He's struggling to open up that right eye as he manages to come off, and it's going to be a I think it's going to be McKenna going back. Yeah, McKenna's going back on for him.
The throw in, taken out of the ruck by Casbolt. He immediately got the boot to ball. And great mark taken by Brandon Ellis against Lick McCarthy. On the arc of 50. Chips it forward to Noah Anderson. Sam Flanders, 29 disposals, 4 clearances and a couple of tackles. Rory Atkins with 25 and Will Powell with 25 for the Suns as Anderson plays on. Long kick just beyond centre wing. Ben King fists it away. Rove by Berry. Handball back to Starcevic. Confronted by Farah. He goes into the corridor. It's a dangerous kick. McCluggage, he was dealt with by Atkins, but illegally. So he'll get the free kick, Hugh McCluggage. He's in the corridor, just short of the centre circles. The kick bounces at the feet of Hipwood, who did well to gather it in the half volley. He wheels around, kicks it in the Gunston direction. Oh, Sam Collins pinched his lollies. Handball now to Ainsworth. A sweeper to the wing, and the Suns will be out through Holman. No, they're not. That was an awful kick. McCluggage has got it.
McCluggage looks for options now by foot. Goes laterally here all the way across to Dunkley. Draws the player. Coming on the outside there is Tunstall. Traps it now 65 from goal. Spears it inside 50 now. Slapped away in defence by Lemons of the Suns. Meanwhile, Rowell's wrapped up by Tunstall. Hand pass away though to Swallow. And a short kick up the line to find Lukosius at left half back for Gold Coast. 31 points is the Suns' lead here. 16 gone final term.
Their defence tonight, the Suns, has just been desperate.
They have been doing it all night, Whitey, haven't they?
Oh.
And outnumbering them. Working harder.
And then when the ball gets to ground, they're the ones that got the numbers there.
So Brandon Ellis, the double premiership Tiger, plays on. Long kick towards half forward. Casbolt the target. Fisted away from him by Andrews, but the Suns with numbers at ground level. Holman, he can't quite hold on to it. McCluggage grabbed it, gave it to Andrews by hand, now to Payne, now through to Danaher. He's confronted by Holman. Breaks that tackle.
Yeah, free kick.
And it's a free kick because it slipped down around his legs. And now
Holman didn't leave anything behind then, did he?
No, that's been the way that they've tried to tackle all day. Ferocious.
Holman, it's just the way he goes about his footy. 8 disposals, but he's got 7 tackles. That's the way he operates.
But it's just the pressure that it forces them to kick it under pressure all the time.
Crowd, by the way, 14,097, which, as you say, a bit disappointing. 2 local teams here on the Gold Coast. And wide it comes back to Tunstall.
As Acker pointed out, Spriggy, the Brisbane people don't like to make the trip up the M1 very often.
1 hour in the car, on a good day at least, anyway. Oh, they come the Brisbane Lions up to Hipwood. Haven't missed much today, though. This will be a loss for them. Just sort of halfway, Hipwood on his preferred left side. Swings it all the way across here to left half back. Coming in late, Jai Farah makes a spoil on Zorko. Out in space on the wing now. Shows that clean pair of heels now away from Zorko. Shrugs the tackle. Shrugs him off now. Goes high inside forward 50. King, a little too deep for him. Roses at the drop as well. Starcevic meets the ball head on. Takes on Ainsworth. He's brought to ground. The umpire will ball up on the painted 50 at right half forward.
3-on-1 again then.
Yeah, that's how they've done it. They've just worked harder.
They have been working harder, and I suppose that's what we've lamented of the Suns over the course of several years here, Acker. But tonight we're seeing it. We're seeing it consistently through the 4 quarters. Off the hands, it goes to Ainsworth. He's tackled into the ground by Berry and Lohman, and we'll do it all again. 55 out. They're on the attack again. The Suns, Casbolt. Got the tap down. McCluggage accepted it. Got the handball back to Danaher. Kicks it to the wing. Over the head of Gunston and Sam Collins. There's your company right there. Well, you'd have nightmares about that if you were Jack Gunston as the ball goes over the boundary line. Zane Bojak's down there.
Yeah, Oscar McInerney's back out there. They bandaged that right ankle, but you'll see that he's really struggling with his running, guys.
He is indeed. He's labouring.
Umpire throws it back in. Casbolt in front. Socked away by Rowell. Flanders dumped heavily here by McCluggage. Umpire lets them play. Ainsworth and McCluggage as well. Bit of wrestle back going on here between. Oh, the suplex from Lockie Neal on Took Miller.
Actually, beautifully
He's flipped him. That was a WrestleMania move. It comes sort of halfway here for the Brisbane Lions. Hipwood on the flank. Goes inside 50 now. Cameron, it was too deep for him, and it goes into the behind post for a throw-in.
Anybody that's ever followed wrestling, that was a superb call by Brett Sprigg. It was exactly what he did.
Did Took Miller tap out, though? I don't know if he tipped out or not.
He had him pinned. Don't worry about that. He was down for the count. 31 points is the Gold Coast lead. 12-5 plays 6-10. Still getting involved here. Lockie Neal and Took Miller. Umpire heaves it back in now. McInerney feeds it down here only as far as Powell to Miller. Spins clear. Wobbles it beyond defensive 50, but it's marked on the chest of Lohman for the Lions.
Kai Lohman, he's 55 out. Jack Payne's saying, go for it, son. He wheels around, looks to measure a kick into the path of Danaher. Cutting it off was Ballard. Danaher kept going. And Ainsworth jumped on the big fella. He got rid of the ball, gave it to McCluggage, and then one on either side. Two Suns conspired to drill him into the ground. Danaher's not liking the treatment he got.
I think he's got it a bit high, Pricey. He's upset about.
Mate, Ainsworth half the size of him. Get over it, Big Joe, just quietly as the ball gets thrown up by the umpire. 45 out. Flanders, handball to Rowell. Rowell kicks it into the middle of the ground. Tell me there's nothing stinky about the Q clash now, boys, as Harris Andrews gets it. Over to Ainsworth, measures a pass now to Lukosius. Lukosius dances around his opponent, measures a kick to Holman. He's dragged underneath him, and Starcevic did beautifully. This is starting to get a little bit steamy.
Yeah, because this is their grand final, Gold Coast, where Brisbane have got bigger fish to fry. It doesn't mean as much to them, but they didn't bring it. And Gold Coast,
still a silly chance from here. Stephen King and the Gold Coast Suns on the run home. It'll be unusual for a caretaker coach to get to the finals, and Swallow tumbles it forward here. Casbolt in the pocket, slaps it toward the goal mouth here where Lester was on the last. Missed Ryan Lester. Still alive here for the Gold Coast Suns in attack. Paddled out here towards Zorko. And Zorko, the hand pass out wide to Tunstall, can go beyond defensive 50. It's marked by Charlie Cameron. Favourite wrestler, Akka? Do you have one?
Oh, yeah, The Rock. Is he a wrestler?
Oh, of course. Yeah. He's more than that now.
But I know his dad was.
Randy the Macho Man Savage, for all those old enough to remember, as the ball goes back into the corridor. Karachi. The former Sun, and it's on behind play again between Tuke Miller and Locke Neal. It's been a 12-round match.
They're going to do something about that.
The ball's, at the back of the pack now.
Tuke Miller has been the instigator, and I guarantee you it'll be Locke Neal who gets...
Locke Neal's had 17 disposals. Miller has now had 26 as Brisbane play on. That's a horrible kick from Hipwood inside 50, cut off by Will Powell. Delicate exit was misdirected and beautifully taken by Ryan Lester. Handball off to Charlie Cameron, into the pocket. McCarthy versus Ballard. The ball went between both of them over the boundary line for a throw-in. Zane Bojak's down there.
My favourite wrestler, what Brisbane's been tonight, Stone Cold, Steve Austin. And boys, unfortunately, the Big O, he struggled out there. He's come back off. They've said that's it for tonight, big man.
Suns by 31. And Q Clash 25. Back in it comes. Wits out of the ruck. Shares it with Rowell. Darts away, dummies a hand pass now, kicks. Neal back with the flight, competes with Swallow. Roved here by Tuke Miller. He propels them forward of left half back. Out to the outer wing now. Second bite here for Starcevic. Tries to control it though, but it's at the drop for Jai Farah. And now Lukosius tries to work it forward as well. Slapped away by Casbolt, only as far as McCluggage. Tunstall to sub out there for the Lions. And now McKenna across half back for Ryan Lester. Brisbane control the ball, but not the game. It's been missed by Hipwood now. Mopped up here as it comes from Ballard to Anderson, who shies on goal, misses to the left-hand side. Minus score. 32 points is the Gold Coast lead here. 12-6, plays 6-10, 23 gone. Final quarter on Grandstand AFL.
It's an aggressive kick to bring back in for Brisbane, and it's loose on the ground on the arc of 50. Picked up there by McCarthy, sweeps it forward off the fists of Andrews. Now it's propelled to the wing. Well taken by Gunston. It's on again in the middle between Miller and Neal. They're both umpires involved as they both pop up. The ball has now been transferred back to Brisbane on the wing to Hugh McCluggage. The crowd hate it. Handball now. McCarthy inside 50. A 2-on-1. And Charlie Cameron got rid of Lemons. Couldn't take the mark. Roved by Collins, back to Lemons, who got it back to Collins cleverly. Sweeping handball to Anderson, deft touch to Andrew, and his kick lucky to hit Tuke Miller on the chest, short of centre wing.
Session 28 coming up for him, middle of the ground, bursting by Swallow, goes inside 50, Farah's out the back, takes a chest mark, plays on top of the square, and pops it into the second tier. Party time, they're going to strip. The Suns will win their first Q Clash in 5 years. First win in their 10th start against the Brisbane Lions. They're out by 38. Time on final turn.
Just the continuing pressure. The come off. Lemons was one out with Charlie Cameron in the back pocket and came across with Sam Collins. Just the support across the whole of the whole field for the Suns, but especially in that back line. Will Powell, Ballard, the whole six that have been down that back line. Atkins has been great as well. Just superb effort.
Tell me, I mean, it does get emotional between players sometimes. Now, they'll shake hands and all that after the game, but Tuke Miller, he don't like Brisbane. He does not like Brisbane, and he's playing like a man who wants to prove them wrong. He wants to hurt them.
Yeah,
on the scoreboard.
The Brisbane players haven't done enough to help Lachie Neale. They'll say that.
No, 28 disposals now for Tuke Miller, 5 clearances, 5 tackles. The ball comes out. Clearance for Brisbane. Danaher belted into the ground. And guess who that is? That's Matt Rowell. And that is tackle number 13 for Matt Rowell, which is extraordinary.
Ball in the air. Laid out from Witts down to Anderson. Kick was chopped off, though. And the overlap go the Lions. Wilmot nurses a kick inside 50. Early jump from Cameron. Ballard intercepts. He does that so well. Not as much the past couple of weeks, Shea Ballard, but strong grab overhead in his defensive 50.
Oh, here goes Collins.
He would come straight here for Collins. It missed him. Bounced out towards Tunstall, running by Dunkley. Goes back inside 50 here for the Brisbane Lions. And taking the mark in the pocket is Gunston. It was pushed late down there by Ballard, but nothing doing. Just the mark for Gunston. Deep in the right forward pocket, 35 out.
And that's what they've tried all night. They've just tried to get under the skin of Brisbane. That late push will give you the idea. That's just what they want to do. They want to niggle and do everything you don't like.
It's worked.
It's worked.
Yeah. Triple Premiership Hawk. Gunston on the approach will miss near side for a minor score.
But sometimes with that, sorry, Spriggy.
6-11-47 to 13-6-84, margin 37.
But sometimes with that, you can get on, but then you don't have you don't back it up with your actions.
Yeah,
that's what the Suns have been able to do tonight.
And why do you, from a ruckman's perspective, Jared Witts 18 hitouts to advantage versus 4. He's dominated that area, given them first chance.
Yeah, and I think that the combination of using when they've brought in the second-tier ruckman, just the balance of having Witts to be doing most of it.
Noah Anderson goes wide to the outer wing. Bailey Humphrey puts his head over the ball. That's no surprise. He gets tackled. Umpire's going to ball it up just short of centre wing. So Flanders has got 31. 8 of those contested. 5 clearances, 2 tackles. Noah Anderson, 29 with 5 clearances and 1 tackle. Will Powell, 28. Tuke Miller, 28 with 5 clearances, 5 tackles and 10 of wrestlings with Lachie Neale as the ball goes over the other side.
And it's socket forward here by Farah. The Gold Coast sub goes to collect, although it's one away here by Dane Zorko. Can link up by foot to Dunkley. Lays off the hand pass, running by Kalamachi. What a great game for him. Goes inside 50 and finds the chest of Gunston. 45 out on a 45-degree angle. It's all in consolation here for the Lions. Gold Coast by 37 late here. Gunston's got the hoof for this. Gives it everything from 52 right to the line. Not quite. Not through for a minor score. Back-to-back behinds for Jack Gunston. It's a 36-point lead the Gold Coast way.
There'll be a lot of clubs in the league looking at the pressure that the Suns have put on the Lions.
Since 2019, the Lions are averaging 117 points against the Gold Coast. Number 1 in the competition. Not tonight. That's 10 goals shy. The ball comes out for the Gold Coast, looking for McAndrew. Well rowed by Berry. Got the handball away to McCluggage, who's tried hard all night. Big wrestle happening behind players. McCluggage puts it inside 50. And it's on McAndrew. Jared Berry standing over him, and McAndrew will not let him go and then throws him to the ground. It's a free kick too. It's going to be a 50 all the way to the goal square.
There's a week.
What's going to happen is McAndrew's lost the pot. Kai Lohman walks up and kicks his very first goal in AFL footy from a metre out. About as exciting as it's got for the Lions in this term. 13-6-84, plays 7-12-54. Congratulations to Kai Lohman, but they are fair dinkum giving it to the Brisbane Lions, the Suns. They are enjoying it. Zorko's over there trying to make some trouble, and several of them just went over there and laughed in his face. Absolutely brilliant. I love it.
Why do it? If you're McAndrew, why put yourself in that jeopardy?
That's a brain explosion. That's nearly a week, I think, off the ball.
That was silly from Andrew, no doubt, but I love what the Suns have reacted to Zorko coming in to assert himself. They laughed at him and just went, go away, sunshine.
Well, they should have done that beforehand, but that was a rookie error there from McAndrews. That'll cost him a fine or at least a week.
Couple minutes left here. Off to Essendon, Sydney at Docklands, or the showdown next in Adelaide, depending on where you're listening. Otherwise, the ABC Listen app has both calls covered there. ABC AFL or AFL Extra. 30 points is the Gold Coast Suns lead here late in Q Clash 25. Down it comes, one away by Miller. Quick clearance here for the Suns. Goes right to the 50 where it's marked by Ainsworth. This will test his distance though.
This is the loudest I've heard the Gold Coast crowd ever, I reckon. Ever. That's loud. They're excited.
This is win number 9 for the season for them coming up. Speaking of 9s, number on his back, Ben Ainsworth, already has 1 goal this evening. Set shot here from 52. Lays into it. On its way. And through. A couple of goals for him. Margin back to 36 as we approach full time.
What a kick. And singing his praises. Took Miller just out of the centre. No, it's a rush kick, but they've played like that all night, Aka. They've been in front. They've worked really hard. They've had more numbers at the ball. Just, one of the things that they'll go through this week is to say that, hey, it's not about being, it's a mindset. Yes, you've got to be fit. You've got to be strong. You've got to have a willingness to work for each other, and they've done that tonight. For 4 quarters, it's been, arguably, it's been their best game this year by far. By far.
But can you bring it? You've got to bring it next week, boys. You're not going to have that same passion. And I can tell you, this will be a nice, sweet night tonight, but they've got to do it every week.
But look what happened with Carlton. When Carlton got rid of the Suns, won by 10 goals, then all of a sudden they've won 6 straight now. So you don't know.
Brisbane's biggest loss by way of margin since round 1, where they lost by 54 to Port Adelaide.
Back into the middle, Witts dominated. Got the handball away, looking for Swallow. Enter Cam Rayner, quiet tonight. Got the handball away. McCarthy inside 50. Suns with the numbers and dominating here. Ballard, time to fumble. Put it through for one rush behind. 90 plays 55. It is a 35-point margin in favour of the Suns.
Bigger concern is the loss of Big Oscar. That could be a few weeks.
Swallow to the outer side. Ellis hooks his way through here. Weaves past Tunstall on the half volley. Picked up by Rowell. Back to Ellis. He works it forward now on the bounce. They're surging forward again. Flanders kicks inside 50. Ainsworth rises up into the back of Leicester. Clunks it 40 out directly in front.
It's a fitness. They had more numbers in their forward 50 just then than what Brisbane did.
I tell you what, good luck when the Gold Coast go out and play Brisbane in Brisbane, because they won't be forgetting, because even just then Humphrey came over and tried to give a bit of lip. That's a dumb move, because they're not going to forget that next time they play him.
Next year.
They got long memories. It'll be a cracker.
Ainsworth lining up here for his 3rd goal. From 40 out, nurses it through. Pure, straight, set shot. And the margin's out to 41. Right on full time. Brisbane will miss an opportunity to consolidate their place in the top 4. And it's the Suns who shine brightest in Q Clash 25.
It's just, we've said it throughout the whole night, the whole afternoon. Just the consistency of their pressure, consistency of their work rate. It's just been superior tonight. It's the best I've seen them play, the best work rate I've seen them over a four-quarter performance. They've been outstanding tonight, the Suns.
Yeah, they'll be enjoying this one. It'll be a nice night tonight on the coast. That is for sure.
So the Lions with 5 more inside 50s over the course of the game, and the Suns have got 900 more metres gained.
Yeah, they've outworked them.
They've just outworked them. Into the middle, Jared Witts gets it down to Danaher, promotes it forward for Brisbane. Picked up by the big captain. Handball back to McAndrew. He flares it out right. It bounces on the wing, and there's the siren. Little brother from up the road on the glitter strip has ended the run of 9 consecutive Q Clash defeats. They have handed the Brisbane Lions a 41-point thrashing here at Carrara.
We are the sons of the Gold Coast sky. We are one in the red, gold and blue. We are the mighty Gold Coast Suns. We play to win the flag for you. Fight, fight, fight till we hold on the gun. Run, 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 run away. Hey! We
Suns, Ben King returned to form. He kicked 5, 2 each for Ainsworth. In fact, it was 3 for Ainsworth and 2 for Casbolt. Singles to Anderson, Farah, Ellis, Roses, Rowell and McPherson. While for the Brisbane Lions, 2 for Charlie Cameron, 1 each for Hipwood, McCluggage, Zorko, McCarthy and Lohman, his first goal on footy. It's the Gold Coast Suns here by 41 points. Brisbane by 7 points at quarter time, Gold Coast by 3 at the half, by 17 at the final change. Runaway winners by 41 points in the end for their first win in 10 starts against the Brisbane Lions, their first since round 5 of 2018 at the Gabba. And the representation shortly for the Q Clash trophy, the cup, and of course the Marcus Ashcroft medal. So we'll be able to analyse the votes of Jeff White and see just how close he gets. In the meantime, Whitey and Jason Ackermanis can give us their thoughts on the Gold Coast win here tonight, their 9th win of season 2023.
Well, it was an outstanding effort from the Suns, and from the get-go, we said from the outset, we said before the first bounce, that they need to own the corridor. They need to run it through the corridor, and even Will Powell's first kick-in was straight down the middle. So they had a clear message that they wanted to own the corridor, and not only did they own the corridor, you can't own the corridor if you don't win the ball. And they just got more numbers to the ball. They were clean below their knees. They were quick with their hands. Their spread was unreal. They just dominated the Brisbane Lions tonight. They made just the work rate was just superior, Pricey, wasn't it? It was just fantastic to watch.
We've watched this team evolve and go up and down for several years now. That is one of the best performances I have ever seen from any Gold Coast Suns outfit. That includes with G. Ablett running around. It was a team performance built on spirit and pressure.
And we've seen Brisbane as well. We've seen Brisbane evolve for where they've come from.
Yep.
And we saw the way they played last week. You really a barometer on your previous effort, and they played Geelong. Great side Geelong is. They just took them to town tonight, the Suns. They really they had a strong focus on, and Lachie Neale was no doubt targeted, but wonderful effort.
But it was a one-on-one, wasn't it, against Tuke Miller, basically, most of the time.
Let's get the presentation.
Here for our next game, here at home. Saturday the 19th of August, gates open at 12:15, Suns v Carlton Q Clash. Presentation just moments away.
Okay, we'll wait for that then. Next up, the Suns are away against Adelaide Oval on Saturday afternoon. That's their next up assignment, while the Lions are also away against Fremantle at Perth Stadium for the last game of the round.
Suns and the Brisbane Lions, what a great contest it was. Tonight, I'd like to welcome Head of AFL Queensland, Tricia Squires, to come forward and present the Marcus Ashcroft Medal to the player who was best on ground. Marcus Ashcroft is a true Queensland AFL legend. He was a triple premiership player for the Brisbane Lions and has held club administration roles at Broadbeach, the Lions and the Suns. The winner of the Marcus Ashcroft Medal for best on ground from the Gold Coast Suns, Tuke Miller.
For a 4th time, he beats his own mark, a 4th best on ground in the Q Clash for Tuke Miller, 4-time Ashcroft medalist.
It's not bad when you've got your opponent at the calibre of Lachie Neale.
Here he is.
I just want to say thanks to the Brisbane Lions. Obviously, a massive contest, and they've had a measure every single time except for tonight. So I'm really proud of the boys to get it done, and good luck to you guys going forward, and hopefully we can take some more scales going forward. Thank you.
29 touches for Tuke Miller, 16 kick, 13 handballs,
well
11
said,
contested, 5 marks, 6 clearances, 5 tackles.
Chair of AFL Queensland to present the Q Clash Cup to the winning team. Congratulations to the Gold Coast Suns, winner of Q Clash 25. Can the co-captain of the Gold Coast Suns again, Tuke Miller, and Jared Witts come up to accept the Q Clash trophy.
And just like that, 2-1 under Stephen King. There's still a silly chance the Gold Coast Suns. Don't write them off. I mean, you can write them off, but they're up to 12th now from 14th, and that is a mighty impressive win.
Firstly, thank you, Brizzy, for the game. Another solid contest. It always is, so thank you for putting on the performance. It was a solid one. To the crowd for coming out, thanks for keep showing up. I've seen a bit of an up and down year, but thank you for staying loyal to us. And to our boys, I hope we get a lot of belief out of that. That was the strongest performances we've had in a little while, so let's take that and keep rolling. Thanks very much for everyone coming.
Jared Witts, the other co-captain, speaking there, receiving the Q Clash Cup. 41-point winners here, the Suns over the Lions at Carrara in front of a 14,000 strong crowd. Aka, Whitey, stick around. We've got more to come from you for those listening through ABC Radio Gold Coast. Wrapping things up, though. And if you are about to leave us to head to Docklands or Adelaide, those respective games, Essendon v Sydney or indeed Adelaide against Port Adelaide, then certainly enjoy that. And off to the NRL in 10 minutes' time, listeners through ABC Radio Gold Coast as well. Interesting game of footy, interesting day of footy so far. Freo over Geelong by 7 points. The Giants over the Bulldogs by 5 in Ballarat. And here it was the Gold Coast Suns by 41 points. The Brisbane Lions still in the top 4 for now. But Melbourne play tomorrow. They could overtake them into third. The Giants are coming as well. It's all sort of play out here in this last month or so of the home and away season. Off